What if the boy who dreamed of being a hero suddenly gained Captain Marvel's cosmic powers? Imagine Deku with energy blasts, flight, and superhuman strength that could rival All Might himself. Today, we're exploring a world where Izuku Midoriya becomes one of the most powerful heroes alive. This is What If Deku Had Captain Marvel's Powers? Welcome, Legends, to Chronos Recom. I wrote this story myself, so if you have any suggestions or what-ifs you want to see, drop it in the comments below. Also, just wanted to let you know I've got a Patreon set up now for anyone who wants to support the channel directly. You can get early access to stories, submit direct fan requests, and get exclusive content. It's totally optional, but if you want to help keep these stories coming, check it out. Links in the description. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit that bell so you never miss an upload. Let's dive into this story.
The abandoned buildings at the edge of Musutafu were strictly off-limits to children. But that didn't stop 5-year-old Katsuki Bakugo from declaring them the perfect playground. Where adults saw dangerous debris and structural instability, Bakugo saw the ideal battleground for testing quirks and playing heroes. "Keep up, Deku!" Bakugo shouted, his small palms crackling with miniature explosions as he scrambled over a fallen concrete pillar. Behind him, 2 neighborhood boys followed eagerly, each proudly displaying their newly manifested quirks. 4-year-old Izuku Midoriya struggled to keep pace, his quirkless body working twice as hard to follow his childhood friend. "Wait for me, Kachan!" he called, voice echoing through the empty corridors of what had once been an industrial complex. "If you can't keep up, you should just go home," Bakugo taunted without looking back. "Quirkless losers don't get to play hero." The words stung, but Izuku pressed forward, determined not to be left behind. His feet carried him through debris-strewn hallways as the other boys' voices grew fainter. By the time he realized he'd taken a wrong turn, the sounds of his friends had disappeared entirely. "Kachan?" Izuku called, his small voice swallowed by the vast emptiness surrounding him. Panic began to rise in his chest as he wandered deeper into the abandoned structure. The buildings seemed to grow around him, corridors stretching endlessly in the fading afternoon light. Turning a corner, Izuku found himself facing what appeared to be an elevator shaft, its doors pried halfway open. A faint blue glow emanated from below, pulsing with hypnotic rhythm. Something about the light called to him, a whisper just beyond hearing that promised discovery. Peering through the gap, Izuku could make out a metal ladder descending into darkness, interrupted only by that mysterious azure illumination. The rational part of his mind, the part that remembered his mother's warnings about dangerous places, told him to turn back and find his way out. But another part, the part that still believed he might one day manifest a quirk and become a hero like All Might, urged him forward. "Hello?" He called down the shaft, his voice bouncing back in metallic echoes. The blue light pulsed brighter in response, almost as if acknowledging his presence. With a child's reckless curiosity, Izuku squeezed through the elevator doors and carefully lowered himself onto the ladder. The metal rungs were cold against his small hands as he descended into the unknown, drawn inexorably toward the source of the light. The ladder seemed to go on forever, taking him far deeper underground than any building should reach. When his feet finally touched solid ground, Izuku found himself in a cavernous laboratory that couldn't possibly belong to the abandoned factory above. The walls were lined with technology unlike anything he had ever seen, sleek, advanced, and clearly not of public knowledge. At the center of the vast chamber stood a containment unit housing a glowing blue cube, its light casting eerie shadows across banks of dormant equipment. Surrounding the central pedestal were workstations covered in dust, as if the entire facility had been hastily abandoned years ago. Izuku approached the glowing object with wide eyes, mesmerized by its pulsing energy. The cube seemed to respond to his proximity, its light intensifying as he drew closer. On the nearest console, a faded label caught his attention. Project Starforce, unauthorized access prohibited. Had this been a Hero Agency's secret lab, or something else entirely? Izuku couldn't know that he had stumbled upon one of All for One's abandoned facilities, a place where the ancient villain had once attempted to understand and harness powers beyond Earth itself. The curious child reached out toward the control panel, fascinated by the strange symbols and pulsing lights. His small fingers traced over buttons and switches, each touch causing subtle changes in the cube's luminosity. The energy within seemed to reach toward him, tendrils of blue light stretching beyond the containment field. "Wow," Izuku breathed, pressing another button. The console hummed to life, dormant systems reactivating after years of silence. Warning indicators flashed across screens as the containment field around the cube began to fluctuate. Alarmed, Izuku stepped back, but it was already too late. The cube's energy signature spiked dramatically, its blue glow transforming to blinding white as the containment field collapsed entirely. The last thing Izuku saw was the cube rising from its housing, cracks appearing across its surface as unimaginable energy sought release. Then came the explosion, not of destructive force but of pure cosmic energy. The cube shattered, releasing a torrent of power that engulfed the small boy completely. Rather than tearing him apart, the energy seemed to recognize something in him, pouring into his body like water filling an empty vessel. Izuku's cells absorbed the cosmic force, his DNA rewriting itself as the power of creation itself fused with his human form. For one eternal moment, Izuku Midoriya witnessed infinity. Stars being born and dying, galaxies spinning in the void, the fundamental forces that governed reality itself. Then, mercifully, consciousness fled as his transformed body collapsed to the laboratory floor. The remnants of the cube, now a dull crystal fragment, shot upward with impossible speed, tearing through the building above and launching into the atmosphere, returning to the cosmos from which it had come. Above ground, the explosion registered as a localized earthquake. Pro-heroes responded immediately, evacuating nearby areas and searching for the source. They eventually discovered a perfectly circular crater where part of the abandoned complex had been, and at its center, an unconscious child surrounded by a faint blue aura. When Izuku awoke in the hospital 2 days later, doctors were baffled by the readings from his body. Energy signatures unlike anything they had documented pulsed beneath his skin. They reached the only conclusion that made sense to them. The boy had finally manifested his quirk, and the explosion had been the result of his awakening power. Even Inko Midoriya, weeping with relief at her son's bedside, believed the doctor's explanation. After all, some quirks manifested later than others, and some appeared with dramatic effect. Only Izuku knew the truth, that something cosmic and ancient had changed him forever. In the weeks that followed, Izuku discovered his new abilities gradually. First came the enhanced strength when he accidentally crushed a doorknob in his hand. Then speed when he found himself across his room in the blink of an eye. The energy manipulation revealed itself more slowly, beginning with strange glowing beneath his skin when emotions ran high. By the time he turned 14, Izuku had learned to control most aspects of his power through careful, secret practice. He could channel cosmic energy through his hands in controlled bursts. He could enhance his physical attributes to superhuman levels. And most thrilling of all, he could manipulate gravitational fields around his body, allowing him to fly. Yet even as he mastered these abilities, Izuku maintained the gentle, analytical personality that defined him. Where Bakugo had grown more aggressive with his powerful quirk, Izuku's cosmic abilities gave him perspective. He understood intuitively that with power came responsibility, that true heroism meant protection, not domination. And so, when the time came to apply for UA High School, the nation's premier hero academy, Izuku Midoriya stepped forward not as the quirkless child he had once been, but as something new, something that, unknown to him, the universe itself had been preparing for. The UA entrance exam battlefield was chaos incarnate. Giant robots crashed through concrete barriers as applicants scattered, each desperate to demonstrate their quirks and accumulate the points needed for admission. Explosions, ice formations, and manifestations of various quirks filled the urban training ground as young heroes in training fought to prove their worth. Izuku stood at the starting line, taking a deep breath as he centered himself. The cosmic energy hummed just beneath his skin, ready to be channeled. He had spent years learning control, practicing in isolated areas where no one would witness the full extent of his power. Now, for the first time, he would display his abilities publicly. And begin! Present Mike's voice boomed across the battlefield. While other examinees hesitated momentarily, Izuku launched himself skyward, cosmic energy manipulating gravity around him. He soared 20 feet above the ground, his body surrounded by a subtle blue aura as several examinees pointed upward in shock. Is he flying? What kind of quirk is that? Izuku ignored the comments, focusing instead on the one-pointer robot that had just emerged from between buildings. With practiced precision, he extended his right hand, channeling cosmic energy into his palm. A blast of concentrated photonic energy erupted from his hand, striking the robot's center mass with pinpoint accuracy. The machine didn't just collapse, it disintegrated, leaving nothing but scattered particles. Izuku didn't pause to admire his handiwork. He was already moving, flying toward a cluster of two-pointers with fluid grace that made his movements seem almost choreographed. One by one, he eliminated them with precise energy blasts, careful to modulate his power to destroy only the targets without causing collateral damage. Ochako Uraraka, another examinee, stared in awe as the green-haired boy moved through the air with impossible speed, dismantling robots with devastating efficiency. "Who is that?" she whispered to herself, momentarily distracted from her own efforts. By the 5-minute mark, Izuku had accumulated over 60 points, systematically clearing entire blocks of the training ground. He moved with perfect economy of motion, never wasting energy or time, his analytical mind calculating trajectories and power outputs even as he flew between targets. From the observation room, the UA faculty watched in stunned silence. "His control is remarkable," Cementos noted. "Not a single stray blast or unnecessary movement." "What exactly is his quirk?" Midnight asked. "Energy projection? Flight? Super strength? It seems to be all of them." All Might remained silent, his sunken eyes fixed on the monitor tracking Izuku. Something about the boy's power signature triggered a distant memory, a conversation with his mentor about forces beyond normal quirks, energies that predated the quirk phenomenon entirely. On the battlefield, the atmosphere suddenly changed as a tremendous rumbling shook the ground. Buildings crumbled as the zero-pointer emerged, a colossal robot designed not to be fought but avoided, towering over the training ground like a mechanical kaiju. Examinees fled in all directions as the behemoth advanced, crushing everything in its path. Izuku was about to join the retreat when he heard a cry of pain. Glancing back, he spotted Uraraka trapped beneath rubble, directly in the zero-pointer's path. Without hesitation, Izuku reversed direction, flying toward the trapped girl even as the massive robot raised its foot to crush them both. Time seemed to slow as he assessed the situation, calculating the necessary force and angle. "Stay down," he called to Uraraka as he positioned himself between her and the descending metal foot. Rather than attempt to move her, Izuku planted his feet firmly on the ground and raised both hands toward the robot. For a brief moment, the cosmic energy within him aligned perfectly, every cell in his body channeling power in harmonious resonance. His eyes glowed with azure light as twin beams of concentrated cosmic force erupted from his palm, merging into a single devastating blast that struck the zero-pointer's center. The energy didn't just damage the robot, it vaporized a perfect circle through its torso, continuing upward to dissipate harmlessly in the sky. For one frozen moment, the zero-pointer remained standing, a massive hole punched clean through its body. Then, with a groaning of metal, it collapsed backward, crashing to the ground with earth-shaking force. Silence fell across the battlefield as every examinee and observer processed what they had just witnessed. Izuku, conscious of the attention now focused on him, quickly turned to help Uraraka. "Are you okay?" he asked, carefully lifting the rubble from her leg with strength that made the concrete seem weightless. "Yeah," she stammered, eyes wide. "That was amazing. You completely destroyed that huge robot with one blast." Izuku offered a shy smile as he helped her to her feet. "I just couldn't leave you there. Can you walk?" Before she could answer, Present Mike's voice announced the end of the exam. As they made their way toward the exit, Izuku felt dozens of eyes following him, some with awe, others with calculation, and a few with outright wariness. Among those watching was Katsuki Bakugo, his perpetual scowl deepening as he witnessed the power displayed by the boy he had once bullied for being quirkless. Something didn't add up, and Bakugo hated mysteries almost as much as he hated being surpassed. In the observation room, the faculty's discussion had grown heated. "His power level is off the charts," Snipe observed. "I've never seen a quirk with that kind of raw output in someone so young." "It's not just the power," Eraserhead noted, his usually bored expression replaced with intense focus. "It's the control. He didn't waste a single joule of energy. Every movement was calculated, every blast precisely calibrated." Principal Nezu, the intelligent animal who led UA, stroked his chin thoughtfully. "All Might, you've been unusually quiet. Your thoughts?" The symbol of peace finally spoke, his voice uncharacteristically subdued. "That boy, his power doesn't feel like a normal quirk. It's something more." As the faculty continued their discussion, Izuku made his way home, unaware that his performance had not just secured his place at UA, but had also sent ripples through the hero community that would eventually reach far beyond Earth itself. The day Izuku received his acceptance letter from UA should have been the happiest of his life. Instead, he sat in his room staring at the holographic message from All Might himself, conflicted emotions warring within him. "Young Midoriya." All Might's projected image boomed. "Not only did you pass the written exam with flying colors, but you achieved the highest practical exam score in UA history. 77 villain points, plus 60 rescue points for your selfless action saving young Uraraka, 137 points total, a record that may stand for generations." The number one hero's signature smile filled the projection. "We look forward to seeing how you'll grow at UA High School, hero in training." As the message ended, Izuku leaned back against his All Might-covered bedroom wall. He should have been ecstatic, but instead felt a strange melancholy. The cosmic energy within him thrummed in response to his emotional state, causing a faint blue glow to emanate from his fingertips. "I didn't earn this power," he whispered to himself, staring at the energy dancing across his hand. "It was just an accident." Unlike his classmates who would have trained their quirks from childhood, Izuku's abilities had literally fallen from the stars into his lap. Was it fair that he now possessed power that dwarfed almost everyone else's? A soft knock interrupted his thoughts. "Izuku?" His mother's voice came through the door. "Can I come in?" "Sure, Mom." Izuku Midoriya entered, her eyes immediately drawn to the fading glow around her son's hands. Though she knew about his quirk, or what she believed was his quirk, seeing its manifestation still amazed her. "I heard All Might's voice," she said, sitting beside him on the bed. "You got in, didn't you?" Izuku nodded, forcing a smile. "Top score in the exam." "That's wonderful," Inko exclaimed, hugging him tightly. When she pulled back, she noticed his subdued expression. "What's wrong? Isn't this what you've always wanted?" "It is, but..." Izuku hesitated, choosing his words carefully. He had never told his mother the truth about his powers, about the abandoned laboratory, the glowing cube, the cosmic explosion. "I'm just worried about controlling my power. It's so much stronger than most quirks." Inko squeezed his hand, misunderstanding the source of his concern, but addressing the heart of it nonetheless. "Izuku, what matters isn't how you got your quirk or how powerful it is. What matters is what you choose to do with it. And I've never met anyone with a more heroic heart than you." Her words struck a chord deep within him. Perhaps it didn't matter how he had gained his power. What mattered was his choice to use it for good, to protect, to save, to inspire. "Thanks, Mom," he said, returning her hug with careful control of his enhanced strength. That night, Izuku stood on his balcony, gazing up at the stars. Somewhere out there was the origin of his power, the cosmic force that had transformed him from a quirkless boy into something else entirely. He raised his hand toward the heavens, allowing cosmic energy to flow freely through his palm, illuminating his face with soft blue light. "I'll make this power count," he promised the distant stars. "I'll become a hero worthy of it." As if in response, the energy pulsed brighter for a moment before subsiding. And for the first time since discovering his abilities, Izuku felt truly at peace with the cosmic force that had chosen him. The morning of Izuku's first day at UA dawned bright and clear. He stood before the massive gates of the prestigious hero school, his heart pounding with excitement and nervousness in equal measure. Around him, other first-year students streamed toward the entrance, each displaying unique physical characteristics of their quirks. "Move it, Deku." The familiar harsh voice came from behind him. Izuku turned to see Katsuki Bakugo approaching, his perpetual scowl firmly in place. "Good morning, Kachan," Izuku greeted politely. Years of bullying had ended when his power manifested, replaced by a cold distance as Bakugo struggled to reconcile the quirkless child he had tormented with the powerhouse Izuku had become. Bakugo stopped a few feet away, studying Izuku with narrowed eyes. "That power you showed at the entrance exam," he said finally. "Where did it really come from? You were quirkless." Izuku maintained a calm expression, though internally he tensed. "Late manifestation. The doctors confirmed it." "Bullshit," Bakugo spat, stepping closer. "Nobody gets a quirk that powerful out of nowhere." For a moment, Izuku considered telling Bakugo the truth about the laboratory, the cube, the cosmic energy that had changed him forever. But something held him back. The origin of his power remained his closest held secret, one he wasn't ready to share, even with someone he had once considered a friend. "I don't know what to tell you, Kachan," he said instead. "It happened the way I said it did." Bakugo held his gaze for a long moment before clicking his tongue in irritation. "Whatever, just stay out of my way." He pushed past Izuku toward the entrance. Watching Bakugo's retreating back, Izuku sighed. Their relationship had become complicated since his power manifested. Where once Bakugo had dominated him completely, now the power dynamic had reversed, and neither of them quite knew how to navigate this new reality. Shaking off the encounter, Izuku headed into the main building, finding his way to Class 1A. As he slid the door open, he was greeted by the sight of his new classmates, Japan's most promising young heroes in training. "It's you!" a cheerful voice called out. Uraraka bounded over, her round face animated with excitement. "The flying boy who destroyed the zero-pointer. I never got to thank you properly for saving me." "Oh, it was nothing," Izuku replied, rubbing the back of his neck self-consciously. "I'm just glad you weren't hurt." "Nothing." A tall boy with glasses approached, moving with mechanical precision. "You annihilated the largest obstacle in the exam with a single energy blast. Such power is hardly nothing. I am Tenya Ida from Somei Private Academy." "Izuku Midoriya." He introduced himself with a polite bow. "Nice to meet you." Before they could continue their conversation, a tired voice interrupted from behind them. "If you're here to socialize, you might as well leave." The students turned to find a man encased in a yellow sleeping bag lying on the floor behind the teacher's desk. He regarded them with bloodshot eyes that spoke of chronic exhaustion. "It took you all 8 seconds to quiet down," the man said, extracting himself from the sleeping bag to reveal a disheveled appearance and capture weapons scarf. "Time is a precious resource. Rational students would understand that." "Who is that?" someone whispered. "I'm Shota Aizawa, your homeroom teacher," the man answered, pulling a UA gym uniform from his sleeping bag. "Put these on and meet me at the training ground. We're having a quirk apprehension test." The class erupted in confused protests about the entrance ceremony and orientation, but Aizawa silenced them with a stern look. UA is known for its freestyle teaching approach. That applies to us teachers as well. His tired eyes scanned the room, lingering momentarily on Izuku. "Now get changed. You have 15 minutes. As they filed out toward the locker rooms, Izuku couldn't shake the feeling that Aizawa had been studying him with particular interest. Had the underground hero recognized something unusual about his power? The thought was concerning. Eraserhead was known for his analytical mind and no-nonsense approach to heroics. At the training ground, Aizawa explained the test, a series of physical evaluations using quirks, with the lowest scoring student facing expulsion. The announcement sent a ripple of anxiety through the class, but Izuku remained calm. With his cosmic abilities, physical tests presented little challenge. "Midoriya," Aizawa called. "You scored highest in the entrance exam. Step up for the softball throw." Izuku took the ball, feeling 20 pairs of eyes on him. He knew he could throw it into orbit if he wanted to, but such a display seemed unnecessary. Instead, he decided to demonstrate control rather than raw power. Taking his position in the circle, Izuku channeled a minimal amount of cosmic energy into his arm, enhancing his strength just enough to make an impressive showing without going overboard. With a smooth motion, he threw the ball, sending it arcing high into the air. 743.6 meters, Aizawa announced, showing the class his device's reading. Murmurs of appreciation spread through the gathered students, but Aizawa's expression remained unchanged. "Is that all you've got, Midoriya?" he asked, his tone challenging. After what you did to the zero-pointer, I expected more. The statement caught Izuku off guard. Was Aizawa testing him, trying to provoke a greater display of power? I was showing restraint, sir, Izuku answered honestly. I could throw it further, but I didn't want to. Show off? Aizawa suggested, his bloodshot eyes narrowing. This isn't about modesty. It's about demonstrating your full potential. Try again. Aizawa tossed him another ball. This time, Izuku understood what was being asked of him. Taking a deep breath, he allowed more cosmic energy to flow through his body, feeling the familiar warmth spread down his arm. His hand began to glow faintly with blue-white light. With a controlled motion far gentler than his first throw, Izuku released the ball. Rather than arcing, it shot from his hand like a comet, trailing faint energy as it disappeared into the sky. Aizawa held up his device. The screen read, "Teak." The ball left the measurement range, Aizawa explained to the stunned class. For practical purposes, we'll record it as infinity. The class erupted in exclamations of disbelief and awe, while Bakugo stared with a mixture of rage and shock. "What the hell, Deku?" he shouted, small explosions popping in his palms as he stepped forward. "How did you get this kind of power?" Before Bakugo could reach Izuku, he found himself suddenly immobilized, wrapped in Aizawa's capture weapon. The teacher's hair was floating, eyes glowing red, his erasure quirk activated. "Calm down," Aizawa ordered, "and don't use your quirk without permission." Bakugo struggled against the restraints, but quickly realized the futility. "Fine," he growled, forcing himself to relax. As Aizawa released him, Izuku noticed something strange. Throughout the entire interaction, he had felt his cosmic power flowing uninterrupted. Aizawa's erasure quirk, which should have temporarily nullified his abilities, had no effect on him whatsoever. The realization sent a chill down Izuku's spine. His power wasn't a quirk, it was something else entirely, something beyond Aizawa's ability to erase. And judging by the calculating look the teacher was giving him, Aizawa had noticed too. The rest of the quirk apprehension test proceeded with Izuku carefully moderating his performance, showing enough to place first overall without displaying the true extent of his abilities. He excelled in every category: strength, speed, endurance, agility, performing at levels that would impress professional heroes. When the final results were displayed, Izuku's name stood at the top of the list, with Yaoyorozu, Todoroki, and Bakugo trailing behind. At the bottom was Mineta, who looked on the verge of tears until Aizawa revealed his expulsion threat had been a logical ruse to draw out their best performance. As the class headed back to change, Aizawa called out, "Midoriya," a word. Izuku approached his teacher, aware of curious glances from his classmates. "Your quirk," Aizawa said once the others were out of earshot. "It didn't deactivate when I used my erasure on you during Bakugo's outburst." It wasn't a question, but Izuku felt compelled to respond. "I noticed that too, sir." "Care to explain why?" Izuku hesitated. Should he tell Aizawa the truth? The origin of his power remained his most closely guarded secret, one he wasn't sure he should share, even with a teacher. "I'm not entirely sure," he answered carefully. "Maybe it has something to do with the nature of my energy manipulation." Aizawa studied him silently for a long moment, his expression unreadable. "Your file says your quirk manifested late, at age 4, in an explosion that destroyed part of an abandoned building complex." Izuku nodded, maintaining eye contact despite his discomfort. "Interesting," Aizawa said finally, "because your power signature doesn't read like any quirk I've encountered in 15 years of teaching." The statement hung between them, a tacit acknowledgement that Aizawa knew there was more to the story. But instead of pressing further, the teacher simply sighed. "Whatever the case, your control is impressive for someone your age. Keep working on it. And Midoriya." Aizawa's tone softened fractionally. "Power like yours comes with proportional responsibility. Remember that." "Yes, sir," Izuku replied, relieved that the questioning had ended, but certain it wasn't over permanently. "I will." As he watched Aizawa walk away, Izuku knew that his secret wouldn't remain hidden forever. Sooner or later, someone would discover the truth about his cosmic origin. The question was whether he would reveal it on his own terms or have it exposed when he least expected it. The next day brought the first of UA's specialized hero training classes. Class 1A waited in eager anticipation as All Might burst through the classroom door with theatrical flair, his perpetual smile and larger-than-life presence filling the room with energy. "I am here." Coming through the door like a normal person, the symbol of peace announced, striking a pose as students gasped and whispered excitedly. All Might explained the day's activity: battle training in urban environments with students divided into hero and villain teams. As they filed toward the locker rooms to don their hero costumes for the first time, excitement permeated the air. Izuku's costume was understated compared to some of his classmates' elaborate designs, a dark blue bodysuit with subtle cosmic patterns that became more visible when his powers activated, complemented by white gloves and boots. No cape, no mask, nothing that would impede movement or visibility during flight. At Ground Beta, All Might organized the teams through random drawing. Izuku found himself paired with Ochako Uraraka as the hero team, facing Bakugo and Ida as villains. "This will be interesting," Uraraka said, giving Izuku an encouraging smile. "Though I feel bad for Ida, being partnered with someone who seems to have such a grudge against you." Izuku nodded, watching Bakugo from across the training ground. His childhood friend's expression was a mixture of determination and simmering rage. "Kachan has always been competitive," he explained, deliberately understating the complexity of their relationship. "But this will be the first time we've ever faced each other with our quirks." All Might explained the scenario. The villain team would guard a mock nuclear weapon inside the building, while the hero team would have 15 minutes to either capture the villains using capture tape or touch the weapon. The exercise would begin with a 5-minute villain preparation period. As Bakugo and Ida entered the building, Izuku turned to Uraraka. "We should use this time to strategize. Your zero-gravity quirk could be incredibly useful for this mission. But your power is so much stronger," Uraraka pointed out. "Couldn't you just fly us both to the top floor and blast through the walls until we find the weapon?" Izuku shook his head. "That's not how real heroes operate. Collateral damage matters, and teamwork is essential. Besides, All Might will be grading us on strategy and cooperation, not just raw power." He quickly outlined a plan that utilized both their quirks efficiently, emphasizing Uraraka's ability to make objects weightless as a key tactical advantage. By the time All Might announced the start of the exercise, they had developed a comprehensive approach that played to both their strengths. Entering the building cautiously, Izuku extended his cosmic awareness, a sense he had developed that allowed him to detect energy signatures through walls and floors. He immediately picked up Bakugo's distinctive explosive energy, moving rapidly toward their position. "Uraraka," he whispered. "Bakugo is coming. He's alone. Ida must be guarding the weapon. Remember the plan?" She nodded, determination replacing her usual cheerfulness. "I'm ready." Right on cue, Bakugo burst around the corner, propelled by his explosions. "Deku!" he roared, right arm drawn back for his opening move. Izuku had anticipated this. "Now, Uraraka!" As Bakugo launched his attack, Uraraka touched several chunks of debris they had prepared, making them weightless. Izuku sent a precisely controlled cosmic pulse that propelled the floating debris into Bakugo's path, disrupting his trajectory. "Don't underestimate us, Kachan," Izuku called, deliberately using the childhood nickname to focus Bakugo's attention on himself. "This isn't like when we were kids." The taunt had the desired effect. Bakugo's expression contorted with fury as he blasted through the debris. "Don't talk down to me," he snarled, launching himself directly at Izuku. "Show me that power you've been hiding all these years." While Bakugo focused entirely on Izuku, Uraraka slipped away according to their plan, heading upward to locate the weapon and Ida. Izuku needed only to keep Bakugo occupied long enough for her to complete the objective. "I'm not hiding anything," Izuku replied, calmly, sidestepping Bakugo's explosive right hook with speed that surprised even himself. The cosmic energy enhanced his reflexes to superhuman levels, making Bakugo's movements seem almost slow in comparison. "And this isn't about showing off power." Bakugo growled in frustration as Izuku continued to evade his attacks, moving with fluid grace that belied the tremendous power contained within his form. "Fight back! Damn it!" "If that's what you want," Izuku replied, his hands beginning to glow with contained cosmic energy. What followed was less a battle than a demonstration of precise control. Izuku met Bakugo's explosive attacks with minimal cosmic pulses, neutralizing the force without causing serious harm. Each time Bakugo launched himself forward, Izuku redirected the momentum, using his enhanced strength and speed to keep the battle contained to a single corridor. Through his earpiece, Izuku heard Uraraka's whispered update. 4th floor, east side. Ida's guarding the weapon. He's taking this very seriously. Keep him distracted, Izuku responded quietly, dodging another of Bakugo's increasingly desperate attacks. I'll be there soon. Bakugo, noticing the communication, redoubled his efforts. Don't you dare look down on me, Deku, he shouted, sweat pouring down his face as he prepared his largest explosion yet. You're not the only one who's been training. As Bakugo launched forward, gauntlets glowing ominously, Izuku made a split-second decision. Rather than continue the pattern of evasion, he planted his feet and raised one hand, palm out. A shield of concentrated cosmic energy formed before him, absorbing the full force of Bakugo's explosion without so much as a flicker. The display left Bakugo momentarily stunned, staring at Izuku with a mixture of disbelief and dawning comprehension of the true gap between their abilities. I need to go help my teammate now, Kachan, Izuku said quietly. Before Bakugo could respond, he channeled cosmic energy around his body and shot upward, phasing through the ceiling with careful control of his molecular structure, a new application of his power he had only recently mastered. He emerged on the 4th floor to find Uraraka engaged in a strange dance with Ida, who had apparently embraced his villain role with theatrical enthusiasm. The mock weapon stood in the center of the room, closely guarded by the engine quirk user. Ida spun at Izuku's arrival. Reinforcements? No matter. Your efforts are futile against my villainous protection. Despite the situation, Izuku couldn't help but smile at Ida's commitment to the role. Uraraka, remember combination move Delta? She nodded, immediately understanding. As they had practiced before the exercise, Uraraka touched her fingertips together, releasing her quirk's effect on herself. At the same instant, Izuku generated a precisely controlled gravitational field around her, effectively giving her the ability to fly without the nausea her own quirk would cause. The unexpected maneuver caught Ida off guard. As he moved to intercept Uraraka's aerial approach, Izuku created a series of small cosmic energy barriers in his path, redirecting rather than stopping him entirely. The coordinated effort left the weapon momentarily exposed, just long enough for Uraraka to touch it with her fingertips. The hero team wins. All Might's voice boomed through their earpieces. Izuku gently lowered Uraraka back to the ground as Ida sighed dramatically, still in character. Foiled by the hero's unexpected aerial assault, a miscalculation on my part. The moment was interrupted by Bakugo's arrival, his expression thunderous as he burst through the doorway. This isn't over, Deku, he growled, chest heaving from exertion and emotion, not by a long shot. All Might appeared shortly after, gathering the 4 students for a debriefing. To Izuku's surprise, despite their victory, the symbol of peace named Ida as the MVP of the exercise. Young Ida embraced his role completely, developed a comprehensive defense strategy, and adapted to changing circumstances, All Might explained. While the hero team achieved victory through excellent coordination, they relied primarily on young Midoriya's overwhelming power advantage. The assessment stung slightly, but Izuku recognized its truth. He had indeed used his cosmic abilities to compensate for strategic weaknesses. In a real-world situation, such reliance could prove dangerous. As they returned to the monitoring room to observe the next match, Izuku found himself the center of attention. His classmates' reactions ranged from awe to wariness, with Todoroki in particular studying him with calculated interest. "Dude, you went through the ceiling!" Kirishima exclaimed. "Is that part of your quirk too?" "It's just an application of energy control," Izuku explained, deliberately vague. "I can temporarily alter my molecular structure by manipulating the energy around me." "That's an incredibly versatile quirk," Yaoyorozu observed. "Energy projection, flight, enhanced physical attributes, and matter phasing. The applications for hero work are virtually limitless." Izuku nodded politely, uncomfortable with the attention but understanding their curiosity. His power was undeniably impressive, and that made the responsibility to use it properly all the more important. As the battle training continued, Izuku watched his classmates' quirks in action, analyzing their strengths and limitations with his characteristic detail-oriented approach. Despite possessing power that outclassed nearly everyone present, he found himself genuinely impressed by the creativity and determination displayed by his peers. This, he realized, was what made UA special. It wasn't just about raw power. It was about learning to use whatever abilities you had to their fullest potential, about growing not just as individuals, but as a team of future heroes who would someday protect society together. For the first time since the cosmic energy had transformed him, Izuku felt truly at home among equals, not in power, perhaps, but in purpose and determination. And that, he decided, was worth more than all the cosmic energy in the universe. The peaceful routine of UA training was shattered 3 days later when alarms blared throughout the campus during what should have been a normal foundational heroics class. Class 1A had been preparing to board buses for off-campus rescue training at the Unforeseen Simulation Joint, USJ, when the security breach was announced. Everyone remained calm. Aizawa instructed as students looked around in confusion. This is likely just an overenthusiastic media intrusion. Despite his reassuring words, Izuku noticed the tension in his teacher's stance. Something about this didn't feel like a simple media problem. The cosmic energy within him seemed to agree, resonating with an unusual frequency that he had come to associate with impending danger. Nevertheless, the class proceeded as planned, boarding the buses to the USJ, where the Space Hero 13 waited to instruct them in disaster rescue operations. As they entered the massive facility with its various disaster zones, even Izuku was impressed by the scale and detail of the training ground. 13 was midway through an opening speech about the responsibility that came with powerful quirks when Aizawa suddenly tensed, his attention drawn to the central plaza below. "Huddle together and don't move," he commanded, his usual tired demeanor replaced with sharp alertness. 13, protect the students." Izuku followed Aizawa's gaze and felt his blood run cold. A dark portal had materialized in the plaza, and through it streamed dozens of menacing figures, villains of every shape and size, led by a lean man covered in disembodied hands and a towering, bird-beaked creature with exposed brain tissue. "Is this part of the training?" Kirishima asked uncertainly. "No," Izuku answered, his cosmic awareness already analyzing the energy signatures below. "Those are real villains. And that creature..." He focused on the bird-headed monster, sensing something profoundly wrong about its energy pattern. "It's not normal." Aizawa pulled his capture weapon tighter around his neck. 13, begin evacuation. Kaminari, try contacting the school. These villains have some kind of jamming quirk. "You can't fight them all yourself," Midoriya protested, sensing the overwhelming numbers below. "No hero is a one-trick pony," Aizawa replied, pulling down his goggles. "I'll hold them off. 13, I'm counting on you." Before anyone could protest further, Eraserhead launched himself toward the plaza, his capture weapon unfurling as he engaged the first wave of villains with remarkable efficiency. The class had just begun retreating toward the entrance when a mass of swirling dark matter materialized before them, coalescing into a towering form with glowing yellow eyes. "Greetings," the misty villain said, his voice eerily polite. "We are the League of Villains. Forgive our audacity, but we've invited ourselves into this bastion of heroism to ensure that the symbol of peace draws his last breath." Izuku tensed, cosmic energy instinctively gathering beneath his skin. The villain's words confirmed his worst fears. This was a planned assassination attempt on All Might. "I believe All Might should have been instructing this class," the mist villain continued. "Has there been some kind of change in schedule? No matter. My role remains the same." The dark mist expanded suddenly, enveloping the students before 13 could activate their quirk. Izuku felt himself being pulled through space, cosmic energy flaring protectively around him as the warp quirk separated him from his classmates. He emerged above the shipwreck zone, plummeting toward the artificial lake below. Rather than panicking, Izuku immediately took control of his descent, cosmic energy manipulating gravity around him as he slowed to a hover several feet above the water's surface. "Midoriya!" The voice came from below. Looking down, Izuku spotted Tsuyuasui in the water, Mineta clinging to her back. "Are you okay?" he called, descending to assist them. "We're fine, Ribbit," Tsuyu responded, her large eyes assessing their situation. "But we've been separated from the others." Izuku nodded, scanning the facility with his enhanced vision. The villains used a warp quirk to scatter us throughout the USJ. They're trying to pick us off in small groups. We're gonna die, Mineta wailed, tears streaming down his face. There are too many of them. No, we're not, Izuku stated firmly, his eyes glowing slightly as cosmic energy enhanced his senses further. Aizawa-sensei is fighting in the central plaza, but he's being overwhelmed. We need to help him. How? Tsuyu asked practically. There must be dozens of villains. Izuku considered their options. His cosmic power could easily defeat most of the villains present, but he was concerned about his classmates' safety during such a confrontation. First, let's get to solid ground, he decided, extending his hands. Asui, Mineta, hold on to me. Once they had gripped his arms, Izuku generated a gravitational field that encompassed all three of them, lifting them toward the shore of the shipwreck zone. As they flew, he continued scanning the facility, identifying the positions of his scattered classmates through their unique energy signatures. Most of our class is still fighting, he reported, but they're holding their own for now. The real threat is in the central plaza, that bird-headed creature with the exposed brain. Its energy signature is wrong somehow. Artificial but incredibly powerful. Landing on the shore, Izuku made a decision. I'm going to help Aizawa-sensei. You two should try to make your way to the entrance. If you find other classmates, stick together. You can't face all those villains alone, Mineta protested. Izuku smiled reassuringly. I won't be fighting all of them, just buying time until the pros arrive. He turned to leave, then paused. And Mineta, have more faith in yourself. You got into UA for a reason. Without waiting for a response, Izuku launched himself skyward, cosmic energy propelling him toward the central plaza. From his aerial vantage point, he could see Aizawa fighting valiantly against overwhelming odds, his erasure quirk and combat skills keeping him ahead of the villains' attacks, but only barely. The hand-covered leader stood watching with casual interest, while the bird-headed creature remained motionless beside him. Something about that monster's stillness sent a chill down Izuku's spine. It wasn't natural, more like a weapon waiting to be deployed. Descending rapidly, Izuku landed beside Aizawa just as the teacher dispatched another group of villains with his capture weapon. Midoriya, Aizawa hissed, bloodshot eyes darting to his student. I ordered an evacuation. The warp villains scattered us throughout the facility, Izuku explained quickly, stepping into a fighting stance beside his teacher. The others are fighting, but they're okay for now. That creature. He nodded toward the motionless monster. It's dangerous, far more than the others. Aizawa's jaw tightened. Get back to your classmates. This isn't... Well, the hand-covered villain interrupted, scratching his neck with disturbing intensity. A student came to join the boss fight early. How interesting. His bloodshot eyes focused on Izuku with unsettling interest. You're not on the curriculum. Who are you? Someone who's going to stop you, Izuku replied, cosmic energy beginning to glow visibly around his hands. The villain tilted his head, the hand covering his face, making his expression impossible to read. Stop me? How arrogant. Nomu, kill the erasure hero. I'll handle the extra. Before Aizawa could react, the creature, Nomu, moved with impossible speed, crossing the distance between them in a blur. Izuku's cosmic-enhanced senses barely tracked the movement as the monster's fist descended toward Aizawa's head with devastating force. Time seemed to slow as Izuku's cosmic energy responded to the imminent threat. Without conscious thought, he interposed himself between Aizawa and the Nomu, raising one hand to meet the creature's attack. The impact sent shockwaves across the plaza, shattering concrete and generating a thunderous boom that echoed throughout the facility. When the dust cleared, Izuku stood unharmed, his hand locked against the Nomu's fist in perfect counterpressure, cosmic energy blazing around him like blue fire. What? The hand villain hissed, taking an involuntary step backward. Impossible. Nomu has shock absorption and strength equal to All Might. Izuku felt something shift within him as he stared into the Nomu's vacant eyes. The cosmic energy that normally flowed through his body in controlled currents was now surging like a tidal wave, responding to the genuine threat before him. For the first time since the accident that had granted him these powers, Izuku felt the full potential of cosmic force awakening. Get everyone out, he told Aizawa, his voice resonating with power. I'll handle this. Before the teacher could protest, Izuku shoved the Nomu backward with enough force to send the creature skidding several meters across the plaza. Then, with a thought, he channeled cosmic energy around his body and rose into the air, hovering several feet above the ground as blue-white light engulfed his form. "What is this quirk?" the hand villain demanded, scratching his neck more frantically. "This wasn't in our intelligence. This isn't fair." Izuku didn't respond. The cosmic energy was building within him, pushing toward a threshold he had never crossed before. His hair began to float upward as if underwater, eyes glowing with pure energy as the air around him ionized from sheer power. The Nomu charged again, moving even faster than before. This time, instead of blocking, Izuku extended both hands and released a concentrated beam of cosmic energy that struck the creature squarely in the chest. The blast should have vaporized a normal opponent, but the Nomu merely staggered backward, its exposed brain pulsing as it regenerated the damaged tissue. "Super regeneration 2, Izuku muttered, analyzing the creature's abilities even as the cosmic energy continued to build within him. Shock absorption, super strength, speed, regeneration. It's designed to fight All Might." The hand villain laughed, a disturbing sound muffled by the severed hand covering his face. "Figured it out, have you? Nomu was bioengineered to kill the symbol of peace. Your little light show won't be enough." As if to prove the point, the Nomu attacked again, this time grabbing Izuku before he could react and slamming him into the ground with enough force to crater the concrete. Any normal person, even most pro-heroes, would have been instantly killed by such an impact. Izuku merely stood up, cosmic energy healing the minor abrasions instantly. But something had changed. The final threshold had been crossed. The cosmic power that had been building within him suddenly exploded outward in a brilliant flash of light. When it subsided, Izuku hovered above the ground, surrounded by a fiery aura of pure cosmic energy. His hero costume had transformed as well, the blue darkening to midnight while golden cosmic patterns flowed across the fabric like living circuitry. "What the hell is this?" the hand villain whispered, taking another step back. "No one said anything about a student with this kind of power." Shigaraki Tomura, the mist villain, materialized beside his leader. "This situation has become unpredictable. Perhaps we should..." He never finished the sentence. Moving with speed that made his previous movements seem glacial by comparison, Izuku shot forward and delivered a single punch to the Nomu's midsection. The impact created a shockwave that shattered windows throughout the facility, sending the bioengineered monster flying backward to crash through the wall of the USJ and continue well beyond the horizon. Silence fell across the plaza as villains and heroes alike stared in shock. Even Aizawa, who had seen Izuku's power during training, seemed stunned by this new level of ability. Shigaraki began scratching his neck with increasing frenzy. No. This is cheating. You're not All Might. This isn't how it was supposed to go." Izuku turned toward the villain leader, cosmic energy still blazing around him in what he would later learn was called his binary form, the full manifestation of his cosmic power. "Surrender," he said simply, his voice carrying the weight of stars. For a moment, it seemed Shigaraki might actually comply, his body language shifting from rage to fear. Then the facility doors burst open with tremendous force, and a familiar voice boomed across the plaza. "Have no fear, for I am here." All Might had arrived, his perpetual smile replaced with an expression of grim determination as he surveyed the scene. His eyes widened momentarily when they landed on Izuku's transformed state, but he quickly regained his composure. "Young Midoriya," he called, striding forward with characteristic confidence. "I see you've been handling things in my absence." Shigaraki's attention immediately shifted to the symbol of peace. "All Might! Finally!" His moment of fear forgotten, he gestured toward the newly arrived hero. "Kurogiri, bring back Nomu! We can still..." Before he could finish, Izuku moved again, cosmic energy propelling him to Shigaraki's side in an instant. "It's over," he said quietly, hand hovering near the villain's shoulder, close enough that Shigaraki knew any decay quirk attempt would be countered before it could activate. The villain leader froze, caught between his obsessive goal and the reality of his situation. With the Nomu gone and faced with both All Might and Izuku's cosmic power, even he could recognize the futility of continuing. "Kurogiri," he said finally, voice tight with suppressed rage, "get us out of here." The mist villain immediately expanded, enveloping Shigaraki before either Izuku or All Might could prevent their escape. As the dark portal closed, Shigaraki's final words echoed across the plaza, "This isn't over. Next time, I'll kill you all." With the immediate threat gone, Izuku allowed the cosmic energy to subside, his binary form fading as he returned to his normal state. The sudden power reduction left him momentarily lightheaded, and he staggered slightly before All Might steadied him with a strong hand. "That was quite a display, young man," the symbol of peace said quietly, his voice lacking its usual bombastic quality. "I believe we have much to discuss." Izuku nodded tiredly. The brief activation of his full cosmic potential had drained him more than expected. "Yes, sir, I think we do." As other teachers began arriving and securing the facility, Izuku found himself the center of attention once more. His classmates who had witnessed his confrontation with the Nomu stared with expressions ranging from awe to disbelief, while Aizawa regarded him with a calculating look that suggested their previous conversation about his quirk's nature was far from over. The USJ incident had forced Izuku to reveal more of his cosmic power than he had intended. The question now was how this would change his relationship with his teachers, his classmates, and the Hero Society at large. For better or worse, the universe had pushed him one step closer to embracing his true potential. The aftermath of the USJ attack brought changes Izuku hadn't anticipated. Though the school attempted to maintain normalcy, returning students to regular classes after just 2 days, nothing felt normal anymore, especially for Izuku. Word of his confrontation with the Nomu had spread throughout the school despite official attempts to downplay the incident. Classmates who had witnessed his binary form activation regarded him with newfound respect and, in some cases, wariness. Even Bakugo had grown uncharacteristically quiet, his usual explosive aggression replaced by intense observation whenever Izuku was nearby. 3 days after the attack, All Might requested a private meeting in one of UA's secure training facilities. When Izuku arrived, he found not only the symbol of peace waiting for him, but also Principal Nezu and Aizawa. Young Midoriya, All Might greeted, his signature smile somewhat subdued. "Thank you for coming. Please, take a seat." Izuku sat across from the three educators, feeling the weight of their collective attention. Something about their expressions told him this wouldn't be a standard debriefing. "I suppose you know why we've called you here," Nezu began, his intelligent animal eyes studying Izuku with unusual intensity. "My power?" Izuku replied simply. There was no point in pretense anymore. All Might nodded, suddenly engulfed in steam as he reverted to his true form, the gaunt skeletal figure that few outside UA knew existed. "Young Midoriya, what you displayed at the USJ was beyond any quirk we've documented in the history of this institution." "Aizawa tells me his erasure had no effect on you," Nezu added, "which suggests your abilities aren't quirk-based at all." Izuku took a deep breath. The moment he had both dreaded and anticipated had arrived, the moment when he would need to reveal the truth about his cosmic origin. "You're right," he acknowledged. "What I have isn't a quirk, it's something else entirely." For the next 30 minutes, Izuku recounted the story he had kept secret for 10 years. The abandoned laboratory, the glowing cube, the cosmic explosion that had infused his body with energy from beyond Earth itself. He explained how he had discovered his abilities gradually, learning to control the cosmic force through years of private practice and study. When he finished, silence filled the room as the three educators processed his revelation. "Fascinating," Nezu finally murmured. "This aligns with certain theories about pre-quirk phenomena that have largely been dismissed by modern science." All Might leaned forward, his sunken eyes intense. "Young Midoriya, my mentor, once spoke of powers that predated quirks, forces beyond human understanding that occasionally manifested in individuals throughout history. The ancients called them gods or demigods, but they were simply people connected to cosmic energies we couldn't comprehend." "You believe Midoriya's power comes from such a source?" Aizawa asked, his perpetually tired eyes showing rare interest. "I do," All Might confirmed, "which raises important questions about how we proceed." Nezu nodded agreement. "Indeed, the public understands quirks, they're quantifiable, classified, regulated, but cosmic energy that can't be erased or suppressed by conventional means, that presents unique challenges for Hero Society." Izuku felt a chill at the principal's words. Are you saying I shouldn't become a hero? Quite the opposite, Nezu assured him quickly. Your heroic instincts are precisely why you belong at UA, but we must be strategic about how your abilities are presented to the public. For now, All Might added, we'll continue with the official explanation that you possess an exceptionally powerful energy manipulation quirk. Only those in this room need to know the full truth. Aizawa, who had remained mostly silent, finally spoke. Your control is impressive, Midoriya, but what happened at the USJ, that transformation, suggests you've barely scratched the surface of your potential. The binary form, Izuku confirmed. It was the first time I've accessed that level of power. It felt like I was connecting to something greater than myself. Which is why you need specialized training, All Might said, training beyond what your regular classes can provide. Nezu explained that they would arrange additional sessions with All Might and other select faculty members to help Izuku explore and master his cosmic abilities in a controlled environment. These would supplement, not replace, his normal hero training. Remember, Midoriya, Aizawa cautioned as the meeting concluded, extraordinary power demands extraordinary responsibility. Don't let what happened at the USJ go to your head. Izuku nodded seriously. I won't, sir. I understand. As he left the meeting, Izuku felt simultaneously burdened and relieved. The truth was finally out, at least to those who most needed to know it. But with that revelation came new expectations and responsibilities. The path ahead would be challenging in ways he hadn't anticipated when he first entered UA. The following weeks brought intensive training sessions with All Might focused on controlling the cosmic energy that had awakened more fully during the USJ incident. Though initially difficult, Izuku gradually learned to access aspects of his binary form without fully transforming, channeling cosmic energy in precise amounts for specific applications. Meanwhile, Class 1A prepared for UA's annual sports festival, a high-profile event that would allow students to showcase their abilities to hero agencies across Japan. For Izuku, it represented both opportunity and challenge, a chance to demonstrate his controlled power on a national stage, but also a risk of revealing too much. The day of the sports festival dawned bright and clear. Stadium seats filled with spectators eager to witness the next generation of heroes, while television cameras broadcast the event worldwide. In the preparation room, Class 1A gathered in their gym uniforms, tension and excitement palpable in the air. Midoriya, Todoroki approached, his heterochromatic eyes intense. A word? Surprised by the usually taciturn student's initiative, Izuku followed him to a quieter corner of the room. I watched you at the USJ, Todoroki said without preamble. That power you displayed wasn't normal, even by top hero standards. Izuku maintained a neutral expression. We all have different quirks with different applications. Don't equivocate, Todoroki replied coolly. Your power is in a different category entirely, which is why I need to tell you something. The dual quirk user explained his family history, how Endeavor had orchestrated a quirk marriage to produce children with powerful combinations, how he had been trained relentlessly from childhood to surpass All Might, how his mother had suffered until she broke under the pressure. I will win today using only my right side, Todoroki concluded, frost forming around his right hand to emphasize his point. I will reject my father's power and still defeat you, the strongest in our class. That's my declaration of war. Izuku considered his classmate thoughtfully. The pain behind Todoroki's declaration was evident, as was the self-limitation he was imposing on his potential. Todoroki, he replied carefully, your power is your own, not your father's. Refusing to use half of your ability doesn't hurt him. It only hurts you and those you're trying to protect. Todoroki's eyes narrowed. You don't understand my situation. Maybe not, Izuku acknowledged, but I understand this. True heroes use every tool at their disposal to save people. In a real crisis, holding back could cost lives. Before Todoroki could respond, they were called to assemble for the opening ceremony. As they joined their classmates, Izuku noticed Bakugo watching their interaction with suspicious intensity. The sports festival began with Bakugo delivering an arrogant pledge on behalf of the first-year students, promising to claim victory and declaring his classmates mere stepping stones. While many in Class 1A fumed at his attitude, Izuku recognized the declaration for what it was: Bakugo's way of motivating himself and others to give their absolute best. The first event was an obstacle race around the stadium periphery. As the signal to start sounded, Todoroki immediately created an ice wall to immobilize the competition. Izuku, however, simply took to the air, cosmic energy propelling him skyward before Todoroki's ice could reach him. "He's flying," commentators exclaimed as cameras tracked his ascent. "Midoriya of Class 1A has literally risen above the competition." Aizawa, serving as reluctant commentator alongside present Mike, added dryly, "Midoriya's energy manipulation quirk allows him to control gravitational forces around his body. Flight is just one application." From his aerial vantage point, Izuku could see the entire course: the bottleneck at the exit tunnel where Todoroki's ice had trapped many competitors, the minefield ahead, the giant villain robots from the entrance exam now serving as obstacles. He could easily fly directly to the finish line, winning without facing a single challenge. But that wouldn't serve his growth as a hero. Instead, Izuku descended into the thick of competition, deliberately facing each obstacle. He weaved between the giant robots, navigated the narrow cliffs, and crossed the minefield by creating localized gravitational distortions that triggered explosives from a safe distance. Throughout the race, he maintained a careful balance, using enough of his power to demonstrate his control while reserving his full capabilities. Though he could have finished minutes ahead of everyone else, he crossed the finish line just seconds before Todoroki and Bakugo, who had battled fiercely for second place. "A strategic race from Midoriya," Aizawa commented as the crowd cheered. He deliberately engaged with obstacles rather than simply flying over them. The second event, a cavalry battle with point values assigned to each participant, proved more challenging. With Izuku assigned the 10 million point headband as first-place finisher, every other team targeted him immediately. Midoriya, Tokoyami approached as they prepared for the event. "Your power makes you an obvious target, but also the strongest defender. I propose an alliance." Together with Uraraka and Hatsume from the support course, they formed a team that leveraged each member's strengths: Tokoyami's Dark Shadow for offense and defense, Uraraka's Zero Gravity to increase mobility, Hatsume's support items for tactical advantages, and Izuku's Cosmic Energy as their foundation. What followed was a masterclass in teamwork and tactical application of quirks. Rather than relying solely on his cosmic power, Izuku coordinated his team's movements, creating openings for his teammates to shine while providing just enough energy manipulation to maintain their position. When Todoroki's team made their final push in the closing seconds, attempting to freeze them in place while Ida used his Recipro Burst to snatch their headband, Izuku demonstrated perhaps his most impressive control yet. Instead of a powerful energy blast that might have injured his classmates, he created a precise gravitational distortion that altered Ida's trajectory just enough to preserve their lead. Team Midoriya advances to the finals, Present Mike announced as the cavalry battle concluded, along with teams Todoroki, Bakugo, and Shinso. The tournament portion of the sports festival brought one-on-one battles that truly tested Izuku's control. His first match against Shinso revealed the General Studies student's brainwashing quirk, a powerful ability that momentarily captured Izuku before his cosmic energy instinctively disrupted the mental influence. "Interesting," Aizawa commented from the announcer's booth. "Midoriya's energy appears to provide some resistance to mental quirks as well." His semifinal match against Ida showcased the speed differential between them. Though Ida's Recipro Burst made him momentarily faster than most pro heroes, Izuku's cosmic enhanced reflexes allowed him to track and counter every movement, eventually securing victory with minimal force. The final match, Izuku versus Todoroki, drew the stadium to hushed anticipation. As they faced each other across the concrete platform, Izuku could see the internal conflict raging behind Todoroki's mismatched eyes. "Remember what I said," Izuku called as the match began. "Your power is yours alone." Todoroki responded with a massive ice attack that would have immediately immobilized any normal opponent. Izuku simply stood his ground, cosmic energy creating a thermal field around him that melted the ice before it could reach him. What followed was less a battle than a conversation through combat. Each exchange pushed Todoroki further toward confronting his internal conflict. Izuku deliberately moderated his cosmic power, using just enough to counter Todoroki's ice while encouraging him to embrace his fire side. "Why won't you end this?" Todoroki demanded after several minutes of increasingly desperate ice attacks. "We both know you could finish me instantly." "Because that's not what this is about," Izuku replied, melting another ice barrage. "You're fighting yourself more than you're fighting me." Something in those words struck home. Memories flooded through Todoroki. His mother's gentle support before his father's training broke her. Her words that he could be whatever kind of hero he wanted to be. "It's your power," Izuku shouted as Todoroki hesitated. "Not his." Fire erupted from Todoroki's left side for the first time in years, melting his accumulated ice and enveloping half his body in brilliant flame. The temperature in the stadium soared as he unleashed the full potential of his dual quirk, creating a spectacular display of elemental power. "Yes," Izuku encouraged, genuinely pleased despite the increased threat. "That's it." The final clash between them was both beautiful and devastating. Todoroki's perfect balance of ice and fire meeting Izuku's controlled cosmic energy in a display that had pro heroes in the audience leaning forward with intense interest. The resulting explosion temporarily obscured the platform from view. When the dust settled, Todoroki lay outside the boundary, while Izuku remained standing at the center of the platform, a faint cosmic aura fading around him. "Midoriya advances," Present Mike announced over the roaring crowd. "Class 1A's Cosmic Powerhouse claims the first-year championship." As medical robots entered to check on Todoroki, Izuku approached and offered his hand. "That was amazing," he said sincerely. "When you used your full power, both sides together, it was incredible." Todoroki accepted the help, rising to his feet with a thoughtful expression. "I've been so focused on rejecting my father that I've been rejecting myself," he said quietly. "Thank you for helping me see that." The award ceremony was a blur of cameras and cheering as Midnight presented medals to the top finishers. All Might himself placed the gold medal around Izuku's neck, using the moment to whisper, "Excellent control, young Midoriya. You've shown them your power while keeping your true potential in reserve." Later, as students dispersed to meet waiting family members, Izuku found himself approached by a tall, skeletal man with a gaunt face and piercing red eyes. "Izuku Midoriya," the man said, his deep voice carrying an authority that seemed at odds with his frail appearance. "My name is Dr. Stephen Strange. I'd like to speak with you about your cosmic energy signature." Izuku froze, cosmic awareness immediately detecting something unusual about the stranger, an energy pattern unlike anything he had encountered before. "Who are you?" he asked cautiously. "How do you know about cosmic energy?" The man smiled slightly. "I represent an organization that monitors unusual energy signatures on Earth. Yours registered quite dramatically during your encounter with that artificial being at the USJ." Before Izuku could respond, All Might appeared beside them in his true form, clearly recognizing the stranger. "Doctor," he greeted with unusual deference. "I wasn't aware you were in Japan." "Toshinori," Strange nodded. The boy's power flux was significant enough to warrant personal attention. You know what it could mean. All Might's expression grew serious. "I do, but he's still young, still learning." "Nevertheless," Strange insisted, "he should be informed of the larger context. Cosmic power of this magnitude doesn't manifest randomly." Izuku looked between them in confusion. "What are you talking about? What larger context?" All Might sighed. "Young Midoriya, there are aspects of your power and its origins that even I don't fully understand. Dr. Strange has specialized knowledge in these matters." "The cube that transformed you," Strange said directly, "was not of Earth origin. It was a containment vessel for energy that predates our universe, cosmic force from the creation of reality itself." The revelation sent Izuku's mind reeling. He had suspected his power came from something extraordinary, but this suggestion went beyond anything he had imagined. "We will speak more when you're ready," Strange concluded, handing Izuku a small card with a strange symbol embossed on it. "For now, continue your training, but be aware, power like yours rarely goes unnoticed across the cosmos." With those cryptic words, the strange doctor departed, leaving Izuku with more questions than answers. All Might placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "Don't worry too much about that now," the symbol of peace advised. "Focus on your immediate path. There will be time for cosmic mysteries later." Izuku nodded, tucking the card into his pocket as he rejoined his classmates. The sports festival had changed things, not just for him, but for everyone in Class 1A. New opportunities and challenges lay ahead, and whatever cosmic destiny might await him would have to take its place in line behind his more immediate goal, becoming the hero he had always dreamed of being. The week following the sports festival brought dramatic changes for Class 1A. Their televised performances had attracted attention from hero agencies across Japan, with each student receiving workplace training offers based on their showing. These work studies represent your first real step into professional hero work, Aizawa explained, distributing personalized lists. Choose carefully. Izuku stared at his own list in stunned silence. While top performers like Todoroki and Bakugo had received dozens of offers, his name had attracted hundreds, including invitations from every member of the current top 10 heroes. "Whoa, Midoriya!" Kirishima exclaimed, peering over his shoulder. "That's gotta be a record!" Bakugo scowled at his own considerably shorter list. "Of course, agencies want a walking nuclear reactor," he muttered. "Doesn't mean he deserves it." Izuku ignored the comment, studying his options thoughtfully. The logical choice would be to accept Endeavor's offer. The number 2 hero would provide excellent combat training, and working alongside Todoroki might help his classmates' continued healing. Yet something else caught his attention. A handwritten note at the bottom of his page. "Gran Torino requests your presence. Contact immediately. All Might." The name meant nothing to Izuku, but All Might's endorsement carried significant weight. When he asked his mentor about it later, the symbol of peace's reaction was surprising. "Gran Torino?" All Might actually shuddered. "He was my teacher and one of the few people who knew my predecessor. If he's requested you specifically, it's significant. But why would he want me?" Izuku wondered, "especially with my unusual situation." All Might's expression grew thoughtful. "Gran Torino has knowledge of matters beyond ordinary quirk science. Perhaps he recognized something in your performance. Whatever his reasons, I suggest you accept." And so, while his classmates departed for prestigious agencies across Japan, Izuku found himself standing before a dilapidated apartment building in an obscure corner of Musutafu, questioning his decision. The elderly hero who greeted him hardly matched the image of someone who could intimidate All Might. Barely reaching Izuku's waist in height, Gran Torino initially appeared senile, mumbling about forgotten names and spilled food. Yet the moment Izuku let his guard down, the old hero moved with shocking speed, ricocheting off walls to deliver a solid kick to his chest. "Too slow," Gran Torino cackled as Izuku stumbled backward. "All Might said you had cosmic reflexes. Where are they now, boy?" The apparent senility vanished, replaced by sharp intelligence as Gran Torino explained the real purpose of Izuku's internship, mastering his binary form. "All Might told me about your transformation at the USJ," the old hero said. "Accessing that power at will, without the trigger of extreme danger, is your next step." For 3 days, Gran Torino pushed Izuku through increasingly demanding exercises, forcing him to channel cosmic energy in precise amounts under pressure. Though initially frustrated by his inability to activate binary form deliberately, Izuku gradually began understanding the mental state required, a perfect alignment of purpose, emotion, and cosmic awareness. On the 4th day, while simulating a rescue scenario involving multiple hostages, something clicked. The cosmic energy that usually flowed through specific channels in his body suddenly aligned in perfect resonance, expanding outward in a brilliant aura of blue-white light. His costume darkened as golden energy patterns manifested across its surface, while his hair lifted slightly in the energy field surrounding him. "There it is," Gran Torino exclaimed, genuine excitement breaking through his gruff exterior. "The binary form! Now hold it steady!" Maintaining the transformation proved challenging. Unlike his normal state, where cosmic energy remained mostly internalized, binary form projected power outward continuously, requiring constant concentration to prevent collateral damage. After just 90 seconds, Izuku had to release the transformation, dropping to one knee in exhaustion. "Not bad for a first conscious activation," Gran Torino assessed. "With practice, you'll extend your duration and reduce the energy drain." Their training was interrupted that evening by an emergency news broadcast. The hero killer Stain, who had murdered 17 heroes and crippled 23 others, had been spotted in Hosu City, where Izuku's classmate Ida was interning under the hero manual. Something about the situation triggered Izuku's cosmic awareness. He recalled Ida's uncharacteristically subdued behavior following his brother Ingenium's career-ending injury at Stain's hands. The pieces suddenly connected in his mind. "I need to go to Hosu," he told Gran Torino urgently. "My friend might be in danger." The old hero studied him for a moment before nodding. "The train leaves in 20 minutes. I'm coming with you." The journey to Hosu was tense, with Izuku repeatedly trying to contact Ida without success. As their train approached the city, explosions suddenly illuminated the skyline, the unmistakable signature of Nomu attacks. The League of Villains, Izuku realized. They're creating chaos as a distraction. Gran Torino immediately went into action, launching himself from the train toward the nearest Nomu with surprising speed for his age. "Contact the pros about your friend," he called back. "Don't engage the Nomus alone." Left to his own devices, Izuku focused his cosmic awareness, scanning the city for Ida's distinctive energy signature. Among thousands of panicked civilians and active heroes, he finally located a familiar pattern in an isolated alleyway, along with two others, one fading rapidly. Without hesitation, Izuku channeled cosmic energy around himself and launched skyward, racing toward the location at supersonic speed. The scene that greeted him confirmed his worst fears. Ida lay paralyzed on the ground beside an injured native, while a blade-wielding figure stood over them, the hero killer himself. "Stain!" Izuku shouted, cosmic energy flaring around his hands as he descended. The hero killer turned, revealing a face partially covered by a tattered scarf and eyes filled with fanatic intensity. "Another child playing hero?" he rasped, blood-caked blades gleaming in the dim light. "This doesn't concern you." "It does when you attack my friends," Izuku replied, landing between Stain and his intended victims. "Ida, what happened?" "Midoriya," Ida managed through gritted teeth, clearly struggling against some form of paralysis. "Leave. He's too dangerous." "His quirk," native gasped from nearby, a deep wound in his shoulder bleeding steadily, "paralyzes you if he tastes your blood." Understanding dawned immediately. "Blood activation quirk," Izuku assessed, cosmic awareness analyzing Stain's energy pattern. "That's why you use blades instead of a more efficient weapon." Stain's eyes narrowed. "Observant, but knowledge alone won't save you." What followed was unlike any confrontation Izuku had faced before. Unlike the Nomu's straightforward power, Stain moved with the precision of years of combat experience, his blades seeking the smallest openings with lethal intent. Though Izuku's cosmic-enhanced reflexes allowed him to evade most attacks, the confined alleyway limited his maneuverability. "You're different," Stain observed after several exchanges, genuine interest creeping into his voice. "Not just your power, your spirit. I sense true heroism in you, unlike these false heroes who serve for fame and money." "All I care about right now is protecting my friends," Izuku replied, cosmic energy gathering around his hands defensively. "Admirable," Stain acknowledged. "But it changes nothing. The fake must be purged so that true heroes like All Might can reclaim society." The hero killer renewed his assault with increased ferocity, forcing Izuku to balance offensive action with protecting his paralyzed companions. A moment's distraction, checking Ida's condition, cost him as one of Stain's smaller blades sliced across his arm, drawing blood. "Got you," Stain grinned, bringing the bloodied blade to his mouth. Izuku felt a momentary surge of panic as the hero killer ingested his blood, expecting the same paralysis that had claimed Ida and Native. Instead, Stain's triumphant expression faltered, replaced by confusion. "What is this?" the villain muttered, trying again with more of Izuku's blood. "Your blood. It won't activate my quirk." Izuku realized the truth immediately. His cosmic energy-infused cells were resistant to quirk-based manipulation, just as they had been to Aizawa's erasure and Shinso's brainwashing. Taking advantage of Stain's momentary confusion, Izuku went on the offensive. Rather than overwhelming force that might endanger his friends in the confined space, he employed precise cosmic-enhanced strikes targeted at disarming the hero killer. "You fight with restraint," Stain noted, blocking a kick that would have dislocated a normal person's shoulder. "Mindful of collateral damage even in the heat of battle. Perhaps you are worthy after all." This isn't about worthiness, Izuku countered, feinting left before landing a solid blow to Stain's right arm, causing him to drop one blade. It's about protecting people from those who would harm them, regardless of ideology. Their battle escalated as Stain realized his quirk's ineffectiveness against Izuku. The hero killer abandoned his usual hit-and-run tactics for a more direct approach, revealing combat skills that had claimed many professional heroes. Throughout the confrontation, Izuku was acutely aware of Ida watching them, seeing a classmate fight his brother's attacker while he lay helpless. The shame and frustration in Ida's eyes pushed Izuku to end the battle quickly. "Enough," he declared, cosmic energy beginning to build toward binary form. The alleyway illuminated with azure light as his power surged, his hair rising slightly in the energy field forming around him. Stain paused, recognizing the dramatic shift in energy. "This power, it's not a normal quirk." Before Izuku could respond, the sound of ice formation announced Todoroki's arrival at the alley entrance. "Midoriya, Ida," the dual quirk user called, flames igniting along his left side as he assessed the situation. The hero killer's attention momentarily shifted to the newcomer, just long enough for Izuku to make his move. Moving faster than even Stain could track, he closed the distance between them and delivered a precisely calculated strike to the villain's solar plexus, followed by a sweeping leg motion that took Stain to the ground. Before the hero killer could recover, Izuku pinned him with enhanced strength, careful to apply just enough pressure to immobilize without causing serious injury. "It's over," he stated firmly, cosmic energy subsiding to a subtle glow around his hands. Stain, remarkably, didn't struggle. Instead, he studied Izuku with an intensity that was almost uncomfortable. "You could have killed me at any point," he observed. "Yet you chose restraint. Perhaps there is hope for hero society after all if the next generation includes true heroes like you." As Todoroki secured Stain with ice restraints and tended to natives' wounds, Izuku knelt beside Ida, whose paralysis was beginning to fade. "I'm sorry," Ida whispered, tears of frustration and shame welling in his eyes. "I came seeking vengeance, not justice. I abandoned everything the Ida name stands for." "We all make mistakes, Ida," Izuku replied gently. "What matters is learning from them." The arrival of professional heroes, including Gran Torino and Endeavor, brought the incident to its official conclusion. Though the students received a stern lecture about unauthorized quirk use, their actions in apprehending the infamous hero killer earned them quiet commendation from the hero community. Later, when the three classmates were hospitalized for observation, Ida made a solemn vow. "I lost sight of what it means to be a hero," he admitted. "But watching you face Stain, Midoriya, seeing how you protected us while still respecting the sanctity of life, I remembered my brother's true legacy. I promise to honor that moving forward." Todoroki, too, seemed changed by the experience. "You didn't need your full power against him," he observed. "Even against someone who defeated pros, you held back to protect us." Izuku smiled slightly. "That's what heroism is about, not just having power, but knowing when and how to use it." The Hosu incident marked a turning point in Izuku's hero journey. While his classmates saw him primarily as the cosmic powerhouse who had dominated the sports festival, those who witnessed his confrontation with Stain understood something deeper. His true strength lay not in cosmic energy, but in the heart and mind that controlled it. The final exams at UA approached with the inevitability of a ticking clock, bringing with them the promise of summer and for those who passed, the school's legendary training camp. Class 1A prepared with escalating intensity, aware that their teachers would design challenges specifically targeting their individual weaknesses. "The practical portion will pair students against faculty members," Aizawa announced, his perpetually tired eyes scanning the classroom. "Your specific matchups will be revealed at the exam site." Speculation ran rampant among the students. Izuku, despite his cosmic power, harbored concerns about facing certain teachers whose tactical experience might counter his raw abilities. When the pairings were finally announced, a collective gasp rippled through the class. "Midoriya and Bakugo versus All Might," Aizawa read from his clipboard, expression unchanging despite the dramatic matchup. Bakugo's reaction was immediate and explosive. "I don't need this cosmic freak's help," he snarled, small detonations popping in his palms. "I can take All Might myself." This isn't a request, it's an assignment, Aizawa replied, flatly, and it was specifically requested by All Might himself. The revelation silenced even Bakugo temporarily. All Might, the symbol of peace, had specifically chosen to test the two students with the highest potential in Class 1A, one with cosmic power that defied conventional limits, the other with explosive ability matched only by his determination. In the days leading up to the practical exam, Izuku made several attempts to coordinate strategy with Bakugo, all rebuffed with increasing hostility. The explosive students' resentment had only grown since the sports festival, where the gap between their abilities had been publicly displayed. Listen, Kachan, Izuku tried one final time as they prepared for their exam. All Might is literally the strongest hero in the world. We need to work together if we're going to have any chance. I don't need strategy advice from someone who got his power by accident, Bakugo snapped, adjusting his gauntlets. Just stay out of my way. Izuku sighed, but didn't press further. Some lessons he was learning could only be taught through experience. The exam area assigned to them resembled a densely packed urban environment, with All Might waiting at its center. Despite the weights designed to limit his power to about half his maximum, the symbol of peace cut an imposing figure in his muscular hero form. Young Midoriya, young Bakugo, he greeted with his characteristic smile. Your objective is simple. You either capture me using these handcuffs, or have one of you escape through the exit gate. You have 30 minutes starting now. Bakugo immediately launched himself forward with an explosive blast, ignoring Izuku's shout of warning. Die! He roared, bringing his right arm back for his signature move. All Might didn't even blink. With casual ease, he caught Bakugo's explosion-propelled fist and countered with a restrained backhand that sent the student crashing through a nearby wall. Lesson 1, All Might called cheerfully. Never attack an opponent of unknown strength head-on without proper assessment. Izuku moved immediately, cosmic energy propelling him to Bakugo's side to check his condition. Despite being partially embedded in concrete, his classmate was remarkably unharmed, though his pride had clearly suffered. Get away from me, Bakugo growled, extracting himself from the rubble. I don't need your help. This isn't about help, Izuku replied firmly. It's about passing the exam. All Might is holding back enormously, and he's still overwhelming you. We need to work together. Before Bakugo could respond, All Might appeared before them, moving with speed that belied his bulky frame. Lesson 2, he announced, hands clasped behind his back. Never assume your opponent will give you time to regroup. What followed was a masterclass in combat from the world's greatest hero. Even with his weights limiting his power, All Might moved with precision and control that made both students' previous battle experience seem like child's play. Each time Bakugo attacked alone, he was countered and repelled. Each time Izuku attempted to use his cosmic abilities, All Might predicted and disrupted his approach. 10 minutes into the exam, both students were breathing heavily, while All Might hadn't even broken a sweat. Bakugo's costume showed signs of multiple impacts, while Izuku had been forced to channel continuous cosmic energy just to keep pace with the symbol of peace's movements. Is this really all you have? All Might asked, disappointment evident in his voice. 2 of UA's most promising students, and neither of you has figured out the real purpose of this exam? Izuku's mind raced, analyzing their situation from multiple angles. Suddenly, understanding dawned. It's not about beating you, he realized. It's about working together despite our differences. All Might's smile widened. Excellent, young Midoriya. Now convince your partner. Bakugo spat blood from a split lip, glaring at both of them. I don't need Cosmic Boy's help to win. This isn't about winning, Izuku insisted, frustration finally breaking through his usual composure. It's about becoming heroes, and real heroes know when to swallow their pride and cooperate. Something in his words, or perhaps the uncharacteristic anger behind them, seemed to reach Bakugo. The explosive student stared at him for a long moment before clicking his tongue in irritation. Fine, he growled. What's your plan? With precious minutes ticking away, Izuku quickly outlined a strategy that leveraged both their strengths. Bakugo's precision explosions would create diversions, while Izuku's cosmic abilities would provide mobility and their primary offensive capability. All Might, who had politely waited during their strategy session, applauded as they turned to face him with newfound coordination. Excellent! Now show me what you've got! The dynamic of the battle shifted dramatically. Though All Might still outclassed them individually, their coordinated efforts began creating genuine challenges for the pro hero. Bakugo's explosions limited All Might's movement options, while Izuku's cosmic maneuverability allowed him to attack from unexpected angles. With 5 minutes remaining, Izuku activated a partial binary form, not the full transformation he had used against the Nomu, but enough to significantly enhance his speed and strength. The exam area illuminated with cosmic light as his power surged, golden energy patterns flowing across his darkened costume. "Now we're talking!" All Might exclaimed, genuine excitement in his voice as he was forced to increase his own output to match Izuku's enhanced state. The final minutes of the exam became a blur of coordinated attacks. Bakugo, recognizing the opportunity created by Izuku's power increase, adjusted his strategy accordingly, using his explosions to maneuver All Might into positions where Izuku could deliver more effective strikes. In the last 30 seconds, with the exit gate still seemingly unreachable, Izuku made a snap decision. Gathering cosmic energy around both himself and Bakugo, he created a localized gravitational distortion that suddenly launched them both toward the exit at tremendous speed. All Might moved to intercept, but Bakugo's final, massive explosion, amplified by Izuku's cosmic energy, created enough force to momentarily blind even the symbol of peace. By the time All Might recovered, both students had crossed the exit threshold with barely 2 seconds remaining on the clock. "Pass!" All Might announced, his smile broader than ever. "Excellent work, young heroes." As recovery robots arrived to check their conditions, Izuku released his cosmic enhancement, returning to his normal state. The partial binary form had drained him less than expected, evidence of his growing control over the cosmic energy within him. Bakugo, surprisingly, didn't immediately storm off. Instead, he stood silently for a moment, studying Izuku with an unrateable expression. "That power," he finally said, voice uncharacteristically subdued. "During the exam, it was different from what you showed at the sports festival." Izuku nodded cautiously. "I've been working on controlling different aspects of my energy output." "You were holding back against me, weren't you?" Bakugo's question contained none of his usual aggression, just a quiet demand for honesty. After a moment's hesitation, Izuku nodded again. "Yes, but not out of disrespect, Kachan. I hold back against everyone." Bakugo's jaw tightened, but he didn't explode as expected. Instead, he turned toward the exit. "Next time we fight," he said without looking back, "don't insult me by restraining yourself. I'd rather lose to your full power than win against a fraction of it." As Bakugo walked away, All Might approached Izuku, reverting to his true form once they were alone. "That was quite impressive, young Midoriya," he said, wiping blood from his mouth, evidence of the strain his muscular form placed on his injured body. "Your control over the binary form is progressing faster than I anticipated." "It's still not complete," Izuku admitted. "That was maybe 60% of what I accessed against the Nomu, and even that drained me somewhat." All Might nodded thoughtfully. "True mastery will come with time, but there's something else we should discuss." His sunken eyes grew serious. "The training camp you'll be attending this summer. It's more important than your classmates realize." The symbol of peace explained that the camp would include specialized training for Izuku, supervised remotely by Gran Torino and another Menherkir. All Might would only refer to as an old acquaintance with knowledge of cosmic matters. "The power within you is still growing, young Midoriya," All Might concluded. "Learning to control it fully isn't just about your hero career anymore. It's about preparing for possibilities that extend beyond Earth itself." The cryptic warning echoed in Izuku's mind long after the exam concluded. As summer approached and Class 1A prepared for their training camp, he couldn't shake the feeling that the cosmic energy that had changed his life was drawing him toward something greater and potentially more dangerous than he had ever imagined. The long-anticipated summer training camp began with an unexpected challenge: being abandoned in the Beast's Forest and forced to traverse miles of monster-inhabited woodland to reach the actual camp facility. Class 1A, still recovering from final exams, found themselves fighting earth beasts created by the Wild Wild Pussycats hero team, while navigating unfamiliar terrain. For most students, this presented a significant challenge. For Izuku, it was an opportunity to demonstrate leadership rather than power. Though he could have flown directly to the camp or easily destroyed the Earth Beasts, he instead focused on coordinating his classmates' efforts, using his cosmic abilities only to protect those in genuine danger. "You're deliberately holding back," Todoroki observed as they fought through a particularly dense cluster of Earth Beasts. "You could end this immediately." Izuku nodded, directing Kirishima and Bakugo toward a flanking position with hand signals. But that wouldn't help anyone improve. This is training, not just an obstacle to overcome. By the time they reached the camp facility, hours later than theoretically possible, but much sooner than the Pussycats had anticipated, Class 1A had developed improved combat coordination and a deeper appreciation for each other's strengths. Izuku's leadership, focused on maximizing everyone's contribution rather than showcasing his own power, had earned him newfound respect from classmates like Tokoyami and Yaoyorozu. Pixie Bob, the Earth-manipulating member of the Pussycats, greeted them with surprised admiration. 8 hours! Not bad for first years. We expected you to take until nightfall at least. It was Midoriya's strategy, Ida explained, formal as always despite his exhaustion. His coordination maximized our quirk efficiency. Tiger, the muscle-bound member of the hero team, studied Izuku with professional interest. Interesting choice. From what we saw, you could have handled most threats alone. Izuku rubbed the back of his neck self-consciously. That wouldn't have been much of a team exercise. Their conversation was interrupted by the arrival of a small boy, Koda, the Pussycat's young ward, whose immediate hostility toward heroes and quirks created an uncomfortable tension. When Koda punched Izuku in the groin and stormed off, most students expected cosmic retaliation. Instead, Izuku simply winced and asked Mandalay about the boy's background, his empathy evident despite the unprovoked attack. The training camp's real purpose became clear the following morning when Aizawa announced their intensive quirk strengthening program. Quirks are physical abilities, he explained to the assembled students. Like muscles, they grow stronger with targeted exercise to the point of exhaustion. For the next 3 days, each student engaged in specialized training designed to push their quirks beyond current limitations. Bakugo immersed his hands in boiling water to expand his explosive sweat glands. Todoroki alternated between creating massive ice structures and generating intense flames. Uraraka spun in circles until nauseous to increase her zero-gravity duration. Izuku's training, however, took a different form. Each morning he joined his classmates for standard exercises, but each afternoon he was led deep into the forest by Aizawa and Tiger for specialized cosmic energy training. All Might informed us of your unique situation, Tiger explained during their first session. My plyo-body quirk allows me to withstand significant energy discharge, making me an ideal training partner. Under their supervision, Izuku practiced accessing progressively deeper levels of his cosmic power in controlled bursts. Unlike his normal energy manipulation, or even the partial binary form he had used during exams, these exercises focused on drawing power directly from what Tiger called his cosmic core, the fundamental connection between his transformed cells and the universe itself. The results were both promising and concerning. Izuku's control improved dramatically, allowing him to channel specific aspects of cosmic energy for precise applications. He could generate protective fields that deflected even Tiger's most powerful strikes, create localized gravitational distortions that altered the forest's environment, and project energy with accuracy that could target individual leaves on distant trees. However, each deeper access to his cosmic core revealed glimpses of something vast and incomprehensible beyond his understanding, flashes of cosmic awareness that extended far beyond Earth, sensing distant energies and entities that defied description. Your awareness is expanding, Aizawa noted on the third day, after Izuku described sensing what felt like massive energy disturbances in distant space. That's expected as your control improves, but don't let it distract you from immediate concerns. That evening, while his classmates enjoyed hot springs and conversation, Izuku sought out Koda, whose continued hostility toward heroes concerned him. Finding the boy at his secret hideout overlooking the forest, Izuku attempted to bridge the communication gap between them. "I know you don't like heroes," he said gently, keeping a respectful distance. "And I understand why. You lost your parents, the water hose team, to villain violence." Koda's hostile expression faltered slightly. "How did you know that?" "I research heroes," Izuku explained, "including those who fall in the line of duty." Their conversation revealed Koda's deeper pain. Not just grief for his parents, but resentment toward the quirk-based society that had created both heroes and villains, the system that had ultimately claimed his parents' lives. Though their discussion ended without resolution, Izuku left Koda with food for thought about the purpose of quirks and the nature of heroism beyond fame or glory. The fourth day of camp brought a test of courage activity, designed to let the students relax after intensive training. As Class 1A prepared to enter the forest in pairs, Izuku's cosmic awareness suddenly flared with warning, a sensation of impending danger so intense it momentarily disoriented him. "Midoriya?" Uraraka asked, concerned by his sudden pallor. "Are you okay?" Before he could respond, explosions rocked the forest, accompanied by a wave of strange purple gas that began spreading through the trees. Instinctively, Izuku created a cosmic energy barrier around the nearest students, preventing the gas from reaching them. "That's not natural," he stated, cosmic senses analyzing the chemical composition. "It's designed to target our respiratory systems, some kind of quirk-based knockout gas." Mandalay's telepathic message confirmed his worst fears. The camp was under villain attack. The League of Villains, now expanded with new members, had launched a coordinated assault on multiple positions throughout the forest. "Everyone, stay together," Izuku commanded, taking charge instinctively. "Yaoyorozu, can you create gas masks?" As she began generating protective equipment, Izuku expanded his cosmic awareness, scanning the forest for both classmates and threats. The situation was dire. Students scattered throughout the woods, villains moving with purpose rather than random destruction, and something else, a presence of immense malevolent energy approaching Koda's hideout. "Mandalay!" he called to the pussycat hero. "There's a villain heading toward the mountain overlook where Kota is." Her eyes widened in alarm. "How do you know?" "No time to explain." Izuku cut her off, cosmic energy already gathering around him. "I'll protect him. Have Tiger coordinate the students here." Without waiting for permission, Izuku launched into the air, cosmic energy propelling him toward Koda's hideout at supersonic speed. As he approached up, he sensed the villain's energy signature more clearly, a disturbing mixture of bloodlust and quirk enhancement that suggested significant danger. He arrived just as a muscular villain with blade-like growths covering his body cornered Koda against the cliff edge. The villain's manic grin faltered slightly as Izuku landed between them, cosmic energy illuminating the small clearing. Well, the villain drawled, eyes widening with recognition. "You're that kid from the sports festival, the one with the cosmic quirk. Muscular's the name, and killing's my game." "Step away from the boy," Izuku demanded, cosmic energy gathering around his hands defensively. Muscular laughed, his exposed eye gleaming with sadistic anticipation. "Make me hero in training. I've been hoping to test myself against someone with real power." Muscle fibers erupted from beneath the villain's skin, enlarging his already impressive physique to monstrous proportions. "These muscle fibers can stop bullets," he boasted, flexing grotesquely. "Let's see how they handle your cosmic blasts." What followed was a battle unlike any Izuku had faced before. Unlike the Nomu's mindless strength or Stain's calculated precision, Muscular fought with the unrestrained ferocity of someone who genuinely enjoyed violence. Each strike carried lethal intent, forcing Izuku to continuously adapt his defense to protect both himself and Koda. "Why are you attacking children?" Izuku demanded, deflecting a particularly vicious blow with a cosmic barrier. "What does the League want?" "League?" Muscular laughed, muscle fibers regenerating where Izuku's energy had severed them. "I'm just here for the fun. They pointed me at some targets and let me loose." His exposed eye focused on Koda with disturbing interest. Like that kid's parents, the water hose heroes. Killing them was a real rush. The revelation hit both Izuku and Koda simultaneously. This was the villain who had orphaned Koda, now returned to potentially claim the child as well. Something shifted in Izuku's cosmic energy at that moment. The careful restraint he had maintained throughout the training camp dissolved, replaced by cold determination. This wasn't a training exercise or a measured response. This was protection in its purest form. You killed his parents, Izuku stated, cosmic energy building rapidly around him, and now you're threatening him. That ends here. Without further warning, Izuku activated his binary form. The transformation was more controlled than at the USJ, but no less dramatic. His costume darkened to midnight blue as golden cosmic patterns flowed across its surface. His hair lifted slightly in the energy field that surrounded him, eyes glowing with concentrated power as he rose several inches above the ground. Muscular's sadistic grin faltered. "What the?" He never finished the sentence. Moving faster than even enhanced eyes could track, Izuku crossed the distance between them and delivered a cosmic charged strike to Muscular's core. The impact sent the villain crashing through multiple trees before embedding him in a distant cliff face. "Stay here," Izuku told the stunned Koda, cosmic energy creating a protective dome around the boy. "This barrier will keep you safe until I return." Following Muscular's energy signature, Izuku found the villain extracting himself from the cliff. Muscle fibers were generating at an alarming rate. "Now that's more like it." The villain cackled, seemingly invigorated rather than deterred by the powerful attack. "Finally, someone who can give me a real fight." Recognizing the danger of prolonged combat near the camp, Izuku made a tactical decision. Extending both hands, he created a gravitational distortion that lifted Muscular from the ground, immobilizing him in midair. "What is this?" the villain demanded, Busuke, struggling against invisible forces. "Put me down." "No," Izuku replied simply. With a gesture, he increased the gravitational pressure around Muscular, compressing the villain's muscle fibers and restricting his movement further. "Your quirk depends on physical expansion. Gravity negates that advantage." Muscular's struggles grew increasingly desperate as Izuku methodically increased the pressure, careful to apply just enough force to neutralize without causing permanent damage. Within minutes, the villain lost consciousness, his muscle fibers retracting beneath his skin as his quirk deactivated. Securing Muscular with cosmic energy restraints, Izuku returned to Koda, who stared at him with an expression caught between fear and awe. You beat him," the boy whispered. "The villain who killed my parents." Izuku deactivated his binary form, returning to his normal state as he knelt beside Koda. "I did. And now I'm going to get you somewhere safe, okay?" As he carried Koda toward the camp facility, the boy asked quietly, "Is that what heroes really do? Protect people like that?" "It's what they're supposed to do," Izuku answered honestly. "Not for fame or glory, but because people deserve protection." After delivering Koda to Mandalay, Izuku rejoined the defense effort, coordinating with the Pussycats to locate and rescue scattered students. His cosmic awareness proved invaluable, allowing him to pinpoint both classmates and villains throughout the forest. The situation clarified as they regrouped. The League of Villains had a specific target, Bakugo. Their entire operation, from the gas attack to the diversionary battles, was designed to capture the explosive student and escape. This realization came too late. Despite Izuku's best efforts to coordinate a defense, a warp gate opened in the forest clearing, allowing Compress, a villain with a quirk that compressed objects into small marbles, to escape with a captured Bakugo and Tokoyami. As the remaining villains retreated through various portals, Izuku stood among his injured classmates, the weight of failure heavy on his shoulders. Despite his cosmic power, despite the progress he had made in controlling it, he had been unable to prevent the League from achieving their objective. The aftermath was chaos. Police and pro-heroes swarmed the camp, treating injuries and taking statements. Class 1A gathered in stunned silence, processing the reality that 2 of their classmates had been taken. "This is my fault," Izuku said quietly as Aizawa addressed the group. "I should have been able to stop them." "No," Todoroki replied firmly. "Even you can't be everywhere at once, Midoriya. You saved Koda and captured Muscular, one of their strongest members." Kirishima clenched his fists in frustration. "That doesn't help Bakugo and Tokoyami now, though. We need to do something." "And we will," Aizawa interrupted, Tath overhearing their conversation. "But not you. This is now a matter for professional heroes." That night, as students were treated for injuries and prepared for evacuation, Izuku couldn't sleep. His cosmic awareness, still heightened from the battle, kept detecting Bakugo's distant energy signature. Faint, but distinctive, somewhere in the urban sprawl of Kamino Ward. When Kirishima approached him with a rescue plan, using Yaoyorozu's tracking device to locate the League's hideout, Izuku found himself torn between his duty as a student and his instinct as a hero. It would be breaking school rules, he acknowledged, as Kirishima, Todoroki, Yaoyorozu, and Ida gathered in his hospital room. Possibly even the law. I know, Kirishima replied, determination evident in his voice. But Bakugo is our friend, and you're the strongest among us, Midoriya. With your power, we actually have a chance. Ida, surprisingly, supported the plan despite his usual adherence to rules. I learned from the Stain incident, he explained. Sometimes the right action transcends regulations. However, we must be clear about our objective. Reconnaissance only, not direct engagement. After careful consideration, Izuku made his decision. We'll go, he said quietly, but on one condition. At the first sign of major villain presence, we contact the pros immediately. This isn't about proving ourselves, it's about bringing our classmates home safely. As dawn approached, the 5 students slipped away from the hospital, beginning a journey that would lead them to the heart of the League of Villains operation, and a confrontation that would forever change the trajectory of Izuku's cosmic destiny. Kamino Ward buzzed with its usual nightlife activity, oblivious to the heroes gathering in its shadows or the villains hiding in plain sight. Dressed in civilian disguises, Izuku and his 4 classmates followed Yaoyorozu's tracking device through neon-lit streets, their tension mounting with each step toward the League's hideout. We're getting close, Yaoyorozu whispered, checking the small device discreetly. Less than 2 blocks now. Izuku nodded, his cosmic awareness already detecting multiple energy signatures ahead, some familiar, others disturbingly powerful. I sense Bakugo, he confirmed, and at least 6 others with quirks, including one that feels wrong somehow. Similar to the Nomu, but different. Remember our agreement, Ida cautioned. Reconnaissance only, no engagement. They reached a nondescript bar with blacked-out windows, the tracker indicating their destination. From the outside, nothing suggested it housed Japan's most wanted villains, but Izuku's senses confirmed multiple presences within, including Bakugo's distinctive explosive energy. Now what? Kirishima whispered, clearly struggling with the desire to burst in immediately. We gather information, Todoroki replied calmly. Then contact the pros as planned. Before they could decide on their next move, a familiar voice spoke from behind them. I thought I recognized those energy signatures. The students turned to find Aizawa standing in the shadows, his capture weapon loosely held around his shoulders and his expression promising severe consequences. Sensei, Izuku began, but Aizawa raised a hand to silence him. Save it, the underground hero said tersely. You've already violated multiple school regulations and potentially several laws. The only reason I'm not dragging you back immediately is that we're about to conduct a raid on that building, and moving you now might alert the villains. As if on cue, dark shadows moved along nearby rooftops, pro heroes taking position for coordinated action. Aizawa guided the students to a position behind police barricades, where they found All Might waiting in his muscular form. Young Midoriya, the symbol of peace, greeted with uncharacteristic seriousness. I might have expected to find you here. Before Izuku could respond, chaos erupted. The bar's front wall exploded outward as Kamui Wood's wooden bindings captured multiple villains inside. Mount Lady's gigantified form blocked escape routes while other heroes rushed in to secure the location. Through the dust and confusion, Izuku's enhanced vision spotted something alarming. A dark portal opening within the bar, similar to Kurogiri's warp gates but larger and somehow more ominous. All Might, he called urgently. They're escaping through some kind of warp. The symbol of peace moved with legendary speed, bursting into the collapsing bar only to find most of the villains already gone. Only the bartender, Kurogiri, and Compress remained, both securely restrained by Kamui Wood's bindings. Where is Bakugo? All Might demanded, scanning the ruins. Gone, Kurogiri replied, his misty form barely visible within the wooden restraints, to meet the true leader of the League. Izuku, who had followed All Might despite Aizawa's orders to stay back, felt his cosmic awareness suddenly expand with alarm. Something massive had activated nearby, an energy signature of tremendous power that felt disturbingly familiar. All Might, he said urgently. I can sense them. They're not far, maybe half a mile west in some kind of warehouse district. The symbol of peace turned to him, conflict evident in his expression. Young Midoriya, you should remain with the authorities. This situation has become too dangerous for students. With respect, sir, Izuku replied firmly, I can sense something powerful there. Something like the Nomu, but much stronger. You might need my help. Before All Might could respond, a massive explosion rocked the neighborhood from the direction Izuku had indicated. Emergency sirens immediately began wailing as police radios crackled with reports of a building collapse and multiple villain sightings. All Might's expression hardened with resolve. Very well, you may accompany me, but you will follow my instructions exactly. The rest of you, he addressed the other students, will remain here with Eraserhead. That is non-negotiable. As All Might launched himself toward the disturbance, Izuku activated his cosmic flight, following close behind. The warehouse district came into view quickly, or what remained of it. An entire block had been reduced to rubble, at the center of which stood a group of figures illuminated by fires and emergency lights. Izuku recognized Shigaraki immediately, the hand-covered villain standing alongside several unfamiliar members of the expanded league. But it was the massive figure behind them that sent a chill through his cosmic awareness. A towering man with exposed brain tissue similar to the Nomu, but with an aura of malevolent intelligence the artificial beings had lacked. Bakugo stood among them, unrestrained but surrounded, his expression a mixture of fury and calculation as he assessed his situation. All Might landed with characteristic force, creating a small crater in the broken concrete. "Fear not," he announced in his most heroic voice, "for I am here." Izuku descended more quietly behind him, cosmic energy gathering around his hands as he analyzed the unfamiliar villains with his enhanced senses. All Might, the brain-exposed figure spoke, his voice carrying an unnatural resonance. "Right on schedule, and you've brought the cosmic child. How convenient." The casual reference to his powers sent a shock through Izuku. How did this villain know about his cosmic energy? "All for one," All Might growled, genuine hatred replacing his usual smile. "So you've finally shown yourself." The name triggered something in Izuku's memory. Fragments of conversations between All Might and his teachers, references to a villain from the distant past who could steal quirks from others. The true opposite of All Might's one-for-all power, and the being responsible for the symbol of peace's devastating injury. "Release, young Bakugo," All Might demanded, tensing for combat. "Your quarrel is with me." All for One chuckled, the sound disturbingly normal coming from his inhuman appearance. "Always so direct, but I'm afraid Tamura has plans for the explosive boy." He turned his featureless face toward Izuku. "I'm more interested in your companion, the one with the power that isn't a quirk at all." Izuku froze, cosmic energy fluctuating around him in response to his shock. How could this villain possibly know that? "Midoriya, stay back," All Might ordered, stepping protectively in front of him. "This enemy is beyond your experience." "Oh, I disagree," All for One replied conversationally. "In fact, young Midoriya and I have a connection he doesn't even realize." The villain spread his arms in a gesture almost like welcome. "Tell me, boy, have you ever wondered where your power truly came from? That laboratory you found as a child wasn't abandoned by accident." The revelation hit Izuku like a physical blow. "What are you talking about?" "That energy cube you encountered? I discovered it decades ago, a cosmic relic beyond even my considerable understanding. I studied it for years before determining it was too unpredictable to control, too alien to harness." All for One's tone became almost wistful. "Imagine my surprise when reports reached me of a child transformed by the very power I had abandoned." All Might's posture shifted, tension evident in every line of his massive body. "Enough talk. Midoriya, get Bakugo and retreat. I'll handle All for One." The ancient villain laughed again. "By all means, try to rescue the explosive child. It will be illuminating to see cosmic energy in action again. Who knows? Perhaps young Midoriya will prove more adept at harnessing it than I was." The standoff broke as multiple events occurred simultaneously. Bakugo, seizing a momentary distraction, created a massive explosion to propel himself away from the villains. All Might launched forward to engage All for One directly, and several new pro-heroes appeared at the perimeter, moving to contain the remaining league members. Izuku immediately focused on Bakugo, cosmic flight carrying him to his classmate's position as Shigaraki reached for the escaping student with his decay quirk active. "Kachan!" Izuku called, extending his hand. "Grab on!" For once, Bakugo didn't hesitate or argue. He grasped Izuku's outstretched hand firmly, allowing himself to be pulled into the air as Shigaraki's fingers closed on empty space. "Get him out of here!" All Might commanded as he traded devastating blows with All for One, each impact creating shockwaves that further damaged the surrounding area. Izuku nodded, cosmic energy enveloping both himself and Bakugo as he accelerated upward. But before they could escape the battlefield, All for One disengaged from All Might long enough to extend one hand toward them. "Not so fast," the villain called, his arm morphing grotesquely as he activated what appeared to be multiple quirks simultaneously. "I'm not finished studying you yet, cosmic child." A concentrated force blast shot toward them with incredible speed. Izuku, reacting on instinct, shoved Bakugo clear and attempted to create a cosmic shield. But the attack was too sudden, too powerful. The impact sent him plummeting back to Earth, cosmic energy flickering around him as he struggled to maintain consciousness. He crashed into broken concrete, the impact creating a small crater despite his durability. Through blurred vision, he saw All for One standing over him, All Might temporarily incapacitated nearby. "Fascinating," the ancient villain murmured, studying Izuku with scientific detachment. "Your cellular structure has been completely transformed by the cosmic energy. You're not even fully human anymore, are you?" Izuku tried to rise, but All for One placed a foot on his chest, pinning him effortlessly. "I wonder," the villain continued, his hand beginning to glow with quirk activation, "if I can extract that cosmic power from you. My quirk allows me to take others' abilities, but yours isn't technically a quirk. This will be an interesting experiment." As All for One's hand descended toward Izuku's face, something shifted within the young hero's cosmic awareness. The universe seemed to slow around him as his consciousness expanded beyond his physical form, connecting to the cosmic energy that permeated reality itself. In that moment of perfect clarity, Izuku understood that he had been accessing only a fraction of his true potential. The cosmic energy within him responded to this realization, surging outward with unprecedented force. His binary form activated instantly, but different from previous manifestations, more complete, more controlled. His costume darkened to cosmic black as golden energy patterns flowed across its surface like living circuitry. His hair lifted in the energy field surrounding him, eyes blazing with pure cosmic force as he rose to his feet, effortlessly displacing All for One's restraining weight. "What is this?" the ancient villain murmured, genuine surprise in his voice for the first time. "This power." Izuku didn't respond with words. Instead, he extended one hand, cosmic energy gathering in his palm with intensity that illuminated the entire battlefield. With precise control born of his expanded awareness, he released not a destructive blast, but a focused pulse that sent All for One skidding backwards several hundred feet, creating distance without causing lethal damage. All Might, recovering from All for One's previous attack, stared in awe at Izuku's transformed state. "Young Midoriya, get Bakugo to safety," Izuku said, his voice resonating with cosmic harmonics. "I can hold him off." Before All Might could protest, All for One returned, multiple quirks activating simultaneously as he launched a combined attack of unprecedented complexity. Air cannons, shockwaves, kinetic boosters, all directed at Izuku with lethal intent. What happened next would be analyzed by hero agencies for years to come. Izuku, fully manifesting his cosmic potential for the first time, didn't just withstand the assault, he systematically neutralized each component with precise cosmic countermeasures. Air pressure was equalized by localized gravitational adjustments, kinetic energy absorbed and redirected, shockwaves dispersed through dimensional phase shifting. "Impossible," All for One breathed, genuine fascination in his voice. The cube's power was greater than I ever imagined. All Might seized the opportunity created by Izuku's distraction, launching himself at All for One with renewed determination. "United States of Smash!" he roared, delivering a blow of such magnitude that the resulting shockwave was felt throughout Kamino Ward. The combined assault, Izuku's cosmic containment, and All Might's ultimate attack finally overwhelmed even All for One's multiple defenses. The ancient villain crashed to the ground, his body broken but his consciousness intact as he laughed weakly. "Well played, symbol of peace," he rasped. "But at what cost?" As if in answer to his question, All Might's muscular form began to flicker, steam rising from his body as he struggled to maintain his hero appearance. With a final surge of will, he solidified his form long enough to raise a triumphant fist for the news helicopters circling overhead. "It's over, all for one," All Might declared as police and heroes moved in to secure the defeated villain. "Your league is scattered, your plans thwarted." All for One, despite his condition, managed a final, chilling comment. This was never about today, All Might. It was about tomorrow. His featureless face seemed to turn toward Izuku, still hovering in his binary form. "And about powers beyond your understanding, isn't that right, cosmic child?" Before Izuku could respond, pro-heroes surrounded All for One with specialized restraints designed to neutralize multiple quirks simultaneously. As the villain was secured, Izuku allowed his binary form to subside, returning to his normal state with better control than previous transformations. All Might approached him, still maintaining his muscular appearance through sheer willpower. "Young Midoriya," he said quietly, "what you did was both reckless and extraordinary. I've never seen power controlled with such precision." "I don't fully understand what happened," Izuku admitted. "It was like the universe itself was guiding me." All Might nodded thoughtfully. "The cosmic awareness Gran Torino mentioned, it's developing faster than anticipated." Their conversation was interrupted as media and emergency services flooded the area. All Might, recognizing his limit was approaching, quickly established a narrative for the press, emphasizing the pro-hero's coordinated effort while downplaying both his own condition and Izuku's cosmic intervention. As medical teams treated injuries and police secured captured villains, Bakugo approached Izuku with an uncharacteristically subdued expression. "That power," he said quietly, eyes fixed on Izuku's hands where cosmic energy had so recently blazed. All for One called it cosmic energy, said it wasn't a quirk. Izuku hesitated, unsure how to respond. After a moment, he opted for honesty. "It's not a quirk, Kachan, it's something else entirely." Bakugo absorbed this information silently, his expression unreadable. Finally, he nodded once. "Makes sense. No quirk could do what I just saw." A hint of his usual intensity returned as he added, "But don't think this changes anything between us. I'm still going to surpass you someday." Despite everything, Izuku found himself smiling. Some things never changed, and Bakugo's determination was strangely reassuring amidst the chaos. As dawn broke over Kamino Ward, illuminating the destruction with harsh clarity, Izuku stood among pro-heroes and rescued classmates, aware that something fundamental had shifted. All for One's revelation about the laboratory, the cryptic warnings about cosmic powers beyond Earth, his own expanded awareness during the battle, all pointed toward a future more complex than he had imagined. On a nearby rooftop, concealed from both heroes and media, a figure observed the aftermath with keen interest. Dr. Stephen Strange lowered specialized binoculars designed to analyze energy signatures, his expression grave as he spoke into a communication device. "The cosmic awakening is complete," he reported. "Midoriya has accessed approximately 95% of the cube's transferred power now." A pause as he listened to the response, then, "Yes, I know what it means. If he's detected it, others will too. Earth has a new defender, but also a new beacon. They'll be coming sooner than we anticipated." Strange cast a final glance toward Izuku, who stood conversing with authorities amid the rubble. "Prepare the sanctuary. Phase 2 begins now." As the sorcerer opened a portal and stepped through, disappearing from the earthly plane, Izuku felt a momentary shiver, his cosmic awareness briefly detecting an energy signature unlike any he had encountered before. But the sensation passed quickly, lost in the chaos of the moment. Unaware of the eyes watching from beyond Earth, Izuku Midoriya stood at the threshold of a new chapter in his hero journey. The cosmic power that had transformed him from a quirkless child into something more had finally awakened to its full potential. What that meant for his future, and for the world he had sworn to protect, remained to be seen. All he knew with certainty was that the universe suddenly seemed much larger than before, and his place within it far more significant than he had ever imagined. The aftermath of the Kamino Ward incident reverberated through Japan like cosmic shockwaves. All Might's final stand against All for One had been broadcast nationwide, culminating in his skeletal true form being revealed to the world. The symbol of peace had passed the torch, not officially to Izuku, but the cosmic student felt the weight of expectation nonetheless. Your power was remarkable, Recovery Girl told Izuku as she examined him in Yue's medical ward. The energy readings we recorded during your binary transformation exceeded anything in our database. Izuku nodded, still processing All for One's revelations about the cosmic cube. I felt connected to something much larger, like the universe itself was responding through me. Recovery Girl exchanged a significant glance with Principal Nezu, who had been silently observing. The cosmic awareness is progressing faster than anticipated, Nezu noted. We should accelerate your specialized training. That acceleration came in the form of the Provisional Hero License exam, scheduled just weeks after the Kamino incident. With All Might retired, society needed heroes more than ever, including qualified students who could legally use their abilities during emergencies. The day of the exam, Izuku stood among 1,540 examinees from hero schools across Japan, his cosmic senses automatically cataloging the energy signatures of hundreds of powerful quirks surrounding him. Remember what we discussed? Aizawa advised the UA students. This exam has a 50% failure rate. Work together when beneficial, but ultimately this is an individual assessment. The first phase, reducing the field by eliminating competitors with target balls, began in chaos. As students scattered, Izuku closed his eyes briefly, allowing his cosmic awareness to expand. Suddenly, he gasped as his consciousness seemed to split, experiencing multiple versions of the exam simultaneously, parallel timelines where different choices led to vastly different outcomes. Midoriya? Uraraka asked, concerned. Are you okay? Izuku blinked, his awareness snapping back to the present reality. I'm fine, but I think I just saw other possibilities. He shook his head, refocusing. Everyone, stay close. I can sense an ambush from the north. His warning proved accurate as a coordinated attack from Shiketsu High students targeted UA, whom they viewed as the biggest threat. Izuku's cosmic reflexes allowed him to create a protective energy field around his classmates, deflecting the initial assault. Focus on offense, he directed. I'll handle defense. What followed was a masterclass in cosmic efficiency. Rather than overwhelming force, Izuku employed precisely calibrated energy fields, creating protected zones for his classmates while using minimal cosmic power to eliminate opponents. His awareness expanded beyond visual range, allowing him to anticipate attacks from multiple directions simultaneously. When Inasa Yoarashi, Shiketsu's wind powerhouse, unleashed a tornado-level assault, Izuku didn't counter with cosmic energy. Instead, he analyzed the attack's energy pattern and created a countercurrent that neutralized it completely. Impressive, Inasa commented, genuine respect in his voice. You redirected my wind without raw power, just perfect energy manipulation. The first phase concluded with all of UA students advancing, largely thanks to Izuku's strategic coordination. But the second phase revealed the exam's true purpose, rescue operations in a simulated disaster zone. As artificial rubble collapsed and professional actors played injured civilians, Izuku felt his cosmic awareness expand again, this time more controlled. He could sense every person in the disaster zone, cataloging injuries and structural dangers with perfect clarity. Todoroki, Yaoyorozu, Northeast Quadrant has 3 trapped civilians under unstable concrete, he directed. Uraraka, Ida, the western building has a family on the 10th floor with the stairwell collapsed. His classmates moved without question, trusting his cosmic perception implicitly. Izuku himself focused on the most dangerous situation, a collapsed tunnel with toxic gas buildup, threatening multiple victims. As he entered the hazardous environment, his cosmic energy automatically adapted, creating a breathable atmosphere around him while neutralizing the toxic elements. The civilian actors stared in wonder as golden energy patterns flowed across his costume, illuminating the darkness. You're safe now, he assured them, cosmic energy expanding to envelop each person protectively. Please remain calm while I stabilize the structure. With careful precision, Izuku manipulated gravitational forces around the tunnel, supporting the failing infrastructure while creating a safe passage for evacuation. The rescue proceeded flawlessly until an unexpected development, Gang Orca, playing the role of a villain, attacked the rescue operation. "Let's see how you handle rescue and combat simultaneously," the pro-hero challenged, unleashing his sonic quirk. The sound waves that could paralyze normal humans washed harmlessly over Izuku, his cosmic energy automatically adapting to neutralize the frequency. Rather than counterattacking immediately, Izuku created cosmic shields around the civilians, ensuring their safety first. Protecting citizens before engaging the villain, Gang Orca noted approvingly. Good instincts. What followed surprised even the experienced pro. Instead of a direct confrontation, Izuku utilized his cosmic energy to create a localized distortion in the water molecules surrounding Gang Orca, essentially adapting to aquatic combat by manipulating the hero's natural environment. "Fascinating," Gang Orca commented as he found his movements subtly restricted. "You're using my own element against me, without direct force." The exchange continued for several minutes, with Izuku demonstrating increasingly sophisticated cosmic adaptations while simultaneously coordinating rescue operations through his expanded awareness. When Gang Orca finally called a halt to the exercise, he studied Izuku with professional interest. "Your quirk allows for remarkable adaptation," he observed, unaware of the cosmic energy's true nature. "But more impressive is how you prioritized rescue while engaging a threat. That's the essence of professional heroism." When the results were announced, Izuku had not only passed but received special commendation for establishing new benchmarks in disaster response protocols. His performance, using minimal force to achieve maximum effectiveness, had impressed the examiners enough to recommend his techniques be incorporated into standard hero training nationwide. As they prepared to leave the examination facility, Izuku experienced another momentary expansion of his cosmic awareness, briefly perceiving other realities where the exam had unfolded differently. In some, he had failed. In others, he had dominated through raw power. This glimpse across dimensions left him thoughtful. "Something wrong, Midoriya?" Todoroki asked, noticing his distant expression. "Just thinking about possibilities," Izuku replied quietly, "and responsibilities." With provisional licenses secured, Class 1A returned to UA to begin their second term, unaware that the next crisis was already taking shape in the shadows of Japanese society. Night Eye Agency's investigation into the Yakuza group Shihasaikai brought Izuku face-to-face with a new mentor, Sir Night Eye, All Might's former sidekick. Their first meeting was tense, the pro-hero studying Izuku with evident skepticism. "All Might speaks highly of your potential," Night Eye said coolly, adjusting his glasses. "But potential means nothing without proper application. Show me why he chose you." The test, to take a stamp from Night Eye within 3 minutes, seemed impossible against the pro's foresight quirk. But as Izuku activated his cosmic energy, something unexpected happened. Night Eye's prediction abilities faltered, his foresight showing multiple contradictory outcomes instead of a single future. "Impossible," the pro-hero muttered, momentarily distracted. "Your actions, they're creating timeline fluctuations." Taking advantage of Night Eye's confusion, Izuku employed cosmic enhanced speed to secure the stamp. But his victory brought no satisfaction to Night Eye, who stared at him with increased suspicion. "That power, it's interfering with established causality," he observed. Even when All Might was at his peak, his actions followed predictable cause and effect patterns. "Yours don't." Despite this unsettling beginning, Izuku joined the work-study program at Night Eye Agency alongside Mirio Tagada, UA's top third-year student. Their patrol brought them into contact with a small girl named Eri, whose bandaged arms and fearful demeanor triggered both heroes' protective instincts. "Something's wrong," Izuku whispered as Eri was led away by Overhaul, the Shihasaikai's leader. "My cosmic awareness is detecting trauma patterns in her energy signature." The subsequent investigation revealed horrifying truth. Eri possessed a rewind quirk that Overhaul was exploiting to create quirk-destroying bullets, harvesting her body repeatedly through deadly procedures before using his own quirk to heal her for continued exploitation. "We need to save her," Mirio insisted during strategy meetings. "Whatever it takes." The raid on the Shihasaikai compound brought together multiple hero agencies in a coordinated strike. As they breached the underground facility, Izuku's cosmic awareness expanded dramatically. rendering the entire complex transparent to his perception. 8 levels down, he reported with certainty. Eri is being held in a reinforced chamber with overhaul. 17 Yakuza members between us and them, plus 4 with quirk enhancements similar to Nomu signatures. Night Eye stared at him. How can you possibly know that? I just can, Izuku replied, unable to fully explain how his cosmic senses were mapping the entire facility down to the molecular level. The assault proceeded according to Izuku's intelligence, with hero teams systematically neutralizing Yakuza resistance. When they encountered the first enhanced villain, a massive brute whose augmented strength shattered concrete, Izuku stepped forward. "Let me handle this," he said quietly. Rather than unleashing raw cosmic power, he analyzed the villain's quirk signature, identifying the unstable energy pattern within. With precision control, Izuku projected a focused cosmic pulse that temporarily disrupted the enhancement, returning the villain to normal human strength. "What did you do to me?" the Yakuza demanded as Fat Gum secured him. "Energetic recalibration," Izuku explained. "Your quirk enhancement was destabilizing your cellular structure. I reset it." As they progressed deeper, the opposition grew fiercer. When Mirio used his permeation quirk to phase ahead and reach Eri first, tragedy struck. One of Overhaul's quirk-destroying bullets struck the third-year student, erasing his ability permanently. Izuku arrived moments later to find a quirkless Mirio still fighting to protect Eri, his heroism transcending his lost power. Something shifted in Izuku's cosmic awareness as he witnessed this, a sudden expansion that allowed him to perceive not just space but time, seeing the moment of Mirio's quirk erasure from multiple temporal perspectives simultaneously. "Get Eri away from here," Mirio gasped, bloodied but unbowed. "I'll hold him." "No," Izuku said with quiet certainty, cosmic energy beginning to build around him. "I can fix this." As Overhaul prepared to attack again, Izuku activated a controlled binary form, his costume darkening as golden energy patterns flowed across its surface. But unlike previous transformations, this manifestation focused inward rather than projecting outward. "What are you doing?" Overhaul demanded, fusion quirk activated as he prepared to reshape matter around them. "Something new," Izuku replied, his voice resonating with cosmic harmonics as he extended both hands, one toward Mirio, the other toward Eri. What happened next defied conventional quirk understanding. Izuku's cosmic energy interfaced directly with the temporal fabric of reality, creating a localized field where time flowed backward for Mirio's cells specifically, returning them to the state before the bullet's impact. Simultaneously, he extended his awareness into Eri's traumatized body, using stellar energy to stabilize her quirk and begin healing years of abuse. "Impossible," Overhaul whispered, witnessing Mirio's permeation quirk reactivate as if it had never been erased. "No quirk can undo another quirk's effect." "This isn't a quirk," Izuku replied, cosmic energy continuing to flow between himself, Mirio, and Eri. "It's something else entirely." The Yakuza leader attacked in desperation, using his reconstruction ability to fuse with a subordinate into a monstrous hybrid form. But Izuku had anticipated this, his cosmic awareness mapping Overhaul's quirk activation at the molecular level. As the villain charged, Izuku made a precise gesture. Cosmic energy pulsed outward, not as a destructive blast, but as a targeted disruption that severed the molecular bonds Overhaul had created. The fusion collapsed, separating the villain from his subordinate and neutralizing his reconstruction ability temporarily. "How?" Overhaul demanded, genuine fear replacing his earlier confidence. "You countered my quirk at the molecular level." "I saw how it worked," Izuku explained simply, "so I knew how to undo it." With Overhaul subdued and Eri secured, the operation should have concluded successfully, but fate had other plans. As they moved to exit the compound, Night Eye encountered Overhaul's second fusion form and suffered fatal injuries despite his foresight quirk. Gathered around the dying hero, his colleagues watched helplessly as medical help remained minutes away. Izuku, still maintaining his cosmic connection to Eri, felt something shift in his awareness again, an expanded perception of time streams and causality paths extending from this moment. "I can save him," he realized aloud, "but I need Eri's help." Understanding dawned on Mirio's face. Her rewind quirk, combined with my cosmic energy to stabilize and direct it, Izuku confirmed, kneeling beside Night Eye. "Eri, I need you to trust me. Together, we can help him." The terrified girl, who had known nothing but pain from her quirk, hesitated before nodding slightly. Izuku gently took her hand, creating a circuit of cosmic energy between them. Under his guidance, Ares Rewind activated with unprecedented control, targeting only Night Eye's injuries while Izuku's cosmic power prevented temporal backlash. Color returned to Night Eye's face as his wounds reversed, cellular damage undoing itself under the combined effect of cosmic energy and temporal manipulation. When his eyes opened, they fixed on Izuku with wonder. "You changed the future," he whispered. "My foresight showed my death as absolute, yet here I am." In the aftermath of the Shihasaikai raid, the hero community buzzed with accounts of Izuku's unprecedented abilities. He had not only defeated Overhaul with minimal collateral damage, but had seemingly reversed a permanent quirk erasure and prevented a prophesied death, feats that defied conventional quirk limitations. More remarkable was Aries' condition. Under Izuku's cosmic guidance, her previously uncontrollable rewind quirk had stabilized, allowing her to begin recovery at UA under supervision. The trauma that had defined her short life began healing as Izuku spent time with her daily, using gentle cosmic energy to help her body and mind recover. "What you did was medically impossible," Recovery Girl told him after examining Eri. "Her cellular regeneration shows patterns I've never seen before, like her timeline itself has been partially reset while maintaining her consciousness and memories." Izuku nodded thoughtfully. "I think I'm starting to understand this power better. It's not just energy manipulation, it's about connecting to universal constants like space and time." This growing understanding brought new responsibilities. Following the high-profile Yakuza operation, the Provisional Hero License Committee mandated a special remedial course for Izuku, not because he had failed their exam, but because his abilities required specialized oversight. "Your power continues evolving in unexpected ways," Aizawa explained as they traveled to the remedial facility. "The committee wants regular assessment to ensure proper development." The remedial course brought Izuku into contact with other powerful students who had failed the license exam, including Inasa Yoarashi and Kami Utsushimi from Shiketsu High. Their task, helping a class of difficult elementary students develop positive views of heroes, seemed simple compared to battling villains. It proved anything but simple. The children, influenced by negative media and personal experiences, actively resisted their instruction, creating chaos at every opportunity. After conventional teaching methods failed, Izuku decided on a different approach. "May I try something?" he asked the supervising hero. At their nod, Izuku gathered the children and sat cross-legged among them. "I'd like to show you something special," he said gently. "Something about what being a hero really means." Activating a carefully controlled cosmic energy field, Izuku created a sphere of golden light that expanded to envelop the children. Within this field, he projected not illusions but actual cosmic awareness, allowing the students to briefly share his perception of the world. "This is how I see things," he explained as the children gasped, experiencing enhanced sensory input that revealed the interconnectedness of all living beings. Everyone's emotions, hopes, fears, they create patterns of energy that heroes learn to recognize. Through this shared awareness, the children felt something unprecedented, perfect understanding across all barriers of language, experience, and perspective. They sensed each other's underlying feelings, the dedication of their teachers, and most importantly, the genuine desire of heroes to protect society. "Heroes aren't just about fighting villains," Izuku continued, guiding their shared experience. "They're about understanding and helping everyone, even when it's difficult." When the cosmic connection faded, the children sat in stunned silence, their previous hostility replaced by thoughtful consideration. In the days that followed, their behavior transformed completely, not through discipline, but through genuine understanding fostered by that brief cosmic empathy. "What exactly did you do to them?" Inasa asked as they completed the remedial course successfully. "They're like different people." "I just helped them see things from multiple perspectives," Izuku explained. "Sometimes understanding is more powerful than any quirk." The success of this approach led to an unexpected development, a request for Izuku to participate in the UA school festival preparations. With society still reeling from All Might's retirement, the festival offered a rare opportunity for positive hero-civilian interaction. Class 1A will perform a music and dance showcase, Aizawa announced. Midoriya, given your unique abilities, the principal suggests you take a special role in security and entertainment coordination. This dual responsibility proved fortuitous when Izuku's cosmic awareness detected an unfamiliar energy signature approaching campus days before the festival. A gentle criminal called La Brava, supporting her partner Gentle Criminal in a plan to infiltrate UA for internet fame. Rather than immediately apprehending them, Izuku's expanded empathy allowed him to understand their motivations. Gentle's desire for recognition after failing as a hero, and La Brava's unconditional devotion born from her own isolation. When he confronted them outside campus grounds, Izuku took an unprecedented approach. "I understand why you're doing this," he said, cosmic awareness allowing him to perceive their life experiences as clearly as if he had lived them himself. But there are better ways to be remembered. Gentle attacked with his elasticity quirk, bending space itself to create bouncing platforms. Instead of countering with force, Izuku used precise cosmic pulses to harmlessly redirect the elastic spaces, creating a dazzling display of light and motion. "Beautiful, isn't it?" he asked as golden energy interacted with Gentle's quirk, producing an aerial light show visible for blocks. "Your quirk has amazing entertainment applications. Why waste that potential on crime?" The conversation that followed, Izuku sharing his cosmic understanding of their situations while demonstrating how Gentle's abilities could create legitimate fame through performance art, ultimately convinced the would-be infiltrators to surrender peacefully. "No one has ever really seen us before," La Brava said quietly as authorities arrived. "Not like you just did." The festival itself became a watershed moment for UA and for Izuku personally. While his classmates performed their musical showcase, he maintained a subtle cosmic field around the entire venue, ensuring absolute safety while using miniature stellar energy formations to enhance the performance with breathtaking light effects. Eri, attending her first public event since her rescue, watched with wide-eyed wonder as cosmic lights danced in perfect harmony with 1A's music. When a particularly beautiful formation of golden energy spiraled above the stage, her face lit with something Izuku's cosmic awareness immediately recognized: pure, unburdened joy. In that moment, sensing Eri's emotional healing through his cosmic empathy, Izuku understood something profound about his evolving powers. They weren't just weapons against villains, but tools for healing, understanding, and connection. Cosmic abilities that could bridge divides no conventional quirk could cross. This understanding would prove crucial in the months ahead, as a new era of heroism began taking shape in All Might's absence. Endeavor's ascension to the #1 hero position brought uncomfortable scrutiny to a man whose abrasive personality and questionable family history made him a controversial symbol. When the powerful high-end Nomu attacked during his public debut alongside Hawks, Japan watched anxiously to see if their new top hero could fill All Might's enormous shoes. Izuku, monitoring the situation from UA, felt his cosmic awareness suddenly expand across dimensional boundaries, experiencing a quantum consciousness that allowed him to perceive the battle from multiple perspectives simultaneously. Without hesitation, he activated his provisional license and launched toward the conflict at supersonic speed. He arrived to find Endeavor struggling despite his tremendous firepower, the high-end's multiple quirks and regenerative abilities proving nearly insurmountable. Hawks lay injured nearby, his feathers depleted from repeated rescue operations. "Midoriya?" Endeavor gasped through bloodied teeth, surprise momentarily overriding his pride. "What are you doing here?" "Helping," Izuku replied simply, cosmic energy gathering around him as he analyzed the Nomu's complex biology. Unlike previous artificial humans, this one possessed sophisticated intelligence alongside its physical enhancements. As the high-end launched another attack, Izuku made a decision. Rather than overpowering the creature, he would use precision instead. Extending his cosmic awareness into the Nomu's cellular structure, he identified the unstable connections between its multiple quirks, the weakness inherent in its artificial design. "Endeavor," he called, cosmic energy forming around his hands. "I need you to hit it with your maximum temperature when I give the signal." The flame hero, despite his notorious independence, nodded tersely. Izuku waited for the perfect moment, then projected a focused cosmic pulse that temporarily separated the Nomu's quirk factors at the molecular level, creating a momentary vulnerability. "Now!" he shouted. Endeavor's prominence burn engulfed the Nomu completely, its regeneration temporarily disabled by Izuku's cosmic intervention. The combination proved devastating, cosmic energy preventing quirk activation while thermal energy destroyed the physical body beyond recovery. As emergency services arrived to secure the scene, Endeavor studied Izuku with newfound respect. "That wasn't raw power," he observed. "You analyzed its structure and found a weakness I couldn't see." "Different perspectives help," Izuku replied diplomatically. "Sometimes strength alone isn't enough." This lesson would resonate through the hero community in the following weeks, as footage of their synchronized attacks circulated widely. The media dubbed it the new symbol strategy. Cosmic precision complementing raw power, student and professional combining strengths to overcome seemingly insurmountable odds. For Izuku, however, the high-end battle had revealed something more significant. His cosmic awareness had briefly allowed him to exist in multiple dimensional states simultaneously, perceiving alternate outcomes and adapting his strategy accordingly. This quantum consciousness represented another evolution in his expanding cosmic abilities. That evolution continued during UA's joint training battle, where Class 1A and 1B competed to demonstrate their growth. Izuku's team faced Monoma's squad, bringing him against a student whose copy quirk presented an intriguing challenge. "Let's see what happens when I copy your cosmic power," Monoma declared confidently, touching Izuku's arm during their first exchange. The result was unexpected for both of them. Rather than gaining cosmic abilities, Monoma experienced a momentary expansion of awareness before his copy quirk shorted out completely. "What was that?" he gasped, genuinely shaken. "I saw everything, all at once." "My power isn't a quirk," Izuku explained quietly. "It's cosmic energy that transformed my cellular structure. There's nothing for your quirk to copy because it's part of me now, not an ability I activate." The match proceeded with Izuku demonstrating remarkable restraint, using minimal cosmic energy to support his teammates rather than dominating the exercise himself. His matter manipulation had reached molecular-level precision, allowing him to create localized effects that enhanced his teammates' quirks without overshadowing them. When Shinso joined the battle with his improved brainwashing quirk and support equipment, Izuku faced another interesting challenge. The mind-controlling voice would normally be ineffective against his cosmic consciousness, but Izuku deliberately allowed a partial connection, engaging Shinso in genuine combat rather than nullifying his quirk entirely. "You could have shut me down immediately," Shinso noted afterward. "Why didn't you?" "Because true growth comes from real challenges," Izuku replied. "For both of us." This philosophy, using his cosmic abilities to elevate others rather than simply overpowering opponents, became Izuku's hallmark during his school career. In training, he began teaching his classmates to analyze energy patterns within their own quirks, helping them discover efficiencies and applications they had never considered. Aizawa, observing this development, commented to Principal Nezu, "He's not just becoming more powerful, he's becoming a better teacher than most pros." Nezu nodded thoughtfully. The cosmic awareness grants him perspective beyond conventional quirk analysis. He sees potential where others see limitations. This expanded perspective would prove crucial during Izuku's internship at the Endeavor Agency, where he joined Bakugo and Todoroki in learning from the new number one. Despite his gruff exterior, Endeavor proved an insightful mentor, pushing all three students to refine their techniques rather than simply amplifying raw output. "Power without precision is just destruction," he lectured during their first session. "Even my flames require careful control to avoid collateral damage." For Izuku, whose cosmic energy could potentially cause catastrophic harm if mishandled, this lesson resonated deeply. Under Endeavor's guidance, he focused on gravitational manipulation, one of the fundamental cosmic forces he could access. Rather than creating large-scale effects, he practiced generating microsingularities, infinitesimal points of gravitational distortion that could redirect objects with minimal energy expenditure. During a patrol that interrupted a terrorist bombing attempt, Izuku demonstrated this refined control, When the villain detonated multiple explosives simultaneously, he created precisely calibrated gravitational fields around each blast, containing the destructive force completely, while Endeavor and Todoroki evacuated civilians. That wasn't just containment, Endeavor observed afterwards, studying the undamaged surroundings. You bent space-time around the explosions. Izuku nodded, carefully releasing the contained energy harmlessly into the atmosphere. Gravitational lensing on a small scale. It's more efficient than trying to counter the explosions with equivalent force. This space-time manipulation represented another quantum leap in Izuku's cosmic evolution, no longer just controlling energy, but influencing the fundamental fabric of reality itself. That capability would be tested sooner than expected as Japanese society entered a period of unprecedented turmoil following the Paranormal Liberation War. With All Might retired and hero agencies stretched thin by increasing villain activity, Izuku made a difficult decision. Using his provisional license, he began independent operations, tackling cases that overwhelmed conventional heroes, particularly those involving victims of psychological trauma. "I can help people in ways others can't," he explained to a concerned Aizawa. "My cosmic empathy allows me to understand experiences I haven't lived through personally." This unique ability proved invaluable during encounters with victims of quirk-based psychological trauma. Where counselors and psychologists hit barriers, Izuku's cosmic consciousness could establish genuine connection, bearing the weight of others' pain temporarily to help them process and heal. His reputation grew as the cosmic healer, a hero who fought villains when necessary, but prioritized rehabilitation and recovery. This approach attracted attention from unexpected quarters, including vigilantes operating in legal gray areas. When he encountered Crawler and Popstep during one of his solo patrols, Izuku didn't immediately report them as protocol demanded. Instead, his cosmic empathy allowed him to understand their motivations, protecting people who fell through the cracks of the official hero system. "There's room for different approaches to heroism," he told them after helping dismantle a quirk enhancement drug operation. "Official or unofficial, what matters is helping people who need it." This period of independent work broadened Izuku's perspective further, exposing him to aspects of society hidden from mainstream heroes. It also attracted unwanted attention, specifically from remnants of the League of Villains, now reorganized under Shigaraki's increasingly unstable leadership. The confrontation came during a seemingly routine patrol when Izuku's cosmic awareness detected a familiar decay signature approaching a crowded shopping district. Shigaraki, his power evolved to terrifying new levels, had come hunting specifically for the cosmic student whose power had repeatedly frustrated his master's plans. Izuku Midoriya, the decay villain called, fingers outstretched as civilians fled in panic. "All for One wants to understand that power of yours. I'm just here to take a sample." What followed was unlike any previous villain encounter. Shigaraki's evolved decay spread with frightening speed, disintegrating everything it touched. But Izuku, his cosmic awareness fully expanded, perceived the quirk's energy signature at the quantum level, understanding its progression through matter as clearly as seeing visible light. Rather than countering with pure energy, he created a dimensional phase shift around himself, temporarily existing slightly out of sync with conventional reality. Shigaraki's decay passed through his partially phased form without effect, leaving the villain momentarily confused. "What are you?" Shigaraki demanded, genuine uncertainty replacing his usual manic confidence. "Someone who understands you better than you think?" Izuku replied, cosmic empathy allowing him to perceive the layers of trauma beneath Shigaraki's hatred. Tenko Shimura, the use of his birth name visibly shook the villain. Taking advantage of this momentary distraction, Izuku extended his cosmic awareness into Shigaraki's consciousness, establishing a temporary psychic connection that allowed him to witness the decay user's traumatic childhood directly. "Your grandmother was a hero," Izuku said quietly, cosmic energy forming a protective barrier between them as they spoke. "Nana Shimura, All Might's mentor. All for One didn't tell you that, did he?" Shigaraki's face contorted with conflicting emotions. "Lies. Not lies. I can see your memories, Tenko, and I can see what All for One did to shape them, to turn your pain into his weapon." For a brief moment, something shifted in Shigaraki's expression, a flicker of the child he had been before tragedy and manipulation. But All for One's influence ran too deep, and the moment passed as the villain attacked with renewed fury. The battle that followed devastated 3 city blocks despite Izuku's best efforts at containment. Shigaraki's enhanced decay combined with multiple quirks he had somehow acquired, evidence of All for One's continued influence. Only Izuku's cosmic adaptation prevented casualties as he created safe zones for civilians while engaging the increasingly unstable villain. "You can't save everyone forever," Shigaraki taunted as his decay approached a trapped family. "Sooner or later, you'll fail." "No," Izuku replied with quiet certainty, cosmic energy surging as he fully activated his binary form. "I won't." What happened next would be debated by quirk scientists for years. Izuku's cosmic energy expanded beyond conventional parameters, creating a field of absolute protection that neutralized Shigaraki's decay completely within its boundaries. More remarkably, the energy began healing structural damage, reversing the decay effect and restoring destroyed matter to its original state. Faced with this unprecedented cosmic restoration, Shigaraki retreated through a warp gate, his final words lingering ominously. "He'll come for that power eventually. Tess, the doctor says it's the key to everything." In the aftermath, as emergency services secured the partially restored area, Izuku's classmates arrived to find him maintaining the cosmic healing field despite obvious exhaustion. "Deku," Uraraka called, concern evident in her voice. "You can stop now. Everyone's safe." Izuku released the energy field gradually, cosmic patterns fading from his darkened costume as he returned to normal state. "I almost had him," he murmured, disappointment clear in his voice. "I could sense a part of Tenko still exists inside Shigaraki, a child who could be saved." "Some people don't want saving," Todoroki observed quietly. "Everyone deserves the chance," Izuku replied with conviction born of cosmic empathy. "Even villains." This philosophy would be tested severely in the months that followed, as a new international threat emerged that would require Izuku to expand his cosmic abilities beyond anything he had previously attempted. America's top hero, Star and Stripe, arrived in Japan, tracking rumors of Shigaraki's evolution. Specifically, intelligence suggesting All for One planned to use the decay villain's body as a vessel for his own consciousness. Her New Order quirk, which could rewrite reality's rules within limited parameters, represented America's ultimate defense against villains. Izuku, now in his final year at UA, sensed her arrival through his cosmic awareness moments before official channels announced it. Something about her energy signature resonated with his cosmic perception, a quirk that interacted with fundamental reality in ways similar to his own abilities. When Shigaraki intercepted Star and Stripe above Japan's territorial waters, Izuku didn't wait for authorization. His cosmic flight carried him to the battlefield at hypersonic speed, arriving to find America's strongest hero already engaged in aerial combat that warped reality around them. "You must be Midoriya," Star called, recognizing him from international briefings. "Japan's cosmic protector." "You shouldn't face him alone," Izuku replied, cosmic energy gathering as he analyzed the battle dynamics. "His decay has evolved beyond physical contact limitations." Star nodded grimly. New Order. The air around Tomura Shigaraki becomes super dense for the next 2 minutes. Her reality-altering quirk activated, creating a visible distortion around the villain that restricted his movement. Izuku immediately recognized the strategic opportunity, cosmic awareness allowing him to perceive exactly how Star's quirk interacted with physical laws. As Shigaraki struggled against the density manipulation, Izuku created a perfect complement, a localized gravitational distortion that further enhanced the restrictive effect. "Interesting combination," Star commented, genuine admiration in her voice. "You adapted to my quirk instantly." "Your New Order changes rules within defined parameters," Izuku explained, maintaining his gravitational field. "My cosmic energy can reinforce those parameters at the quantum level." Their synchronized assault pushed Shigaraki to unprecedented defensive measures, forcing him to reveal how thoroughly All for One had modified his body. Multiple quirks activated simultaneously as the villain fought through Star's reality manipulation and Izuku's cosmic containment. "He's attempting to steal your quirk," Izuku warned, cosmic awareness detecting the energy signature of All for One's original power activating within Shigaraki. I can sense his stealing factor engaging. Star's expression hardened with resolve. Then we end this now. New order, Tamura Shigaraki's heart stops beating. The direct attack on the villain's life function should have been instantaneously fatal, a desperate measure justified by the existential threat Shigaraki represented. Instead, his body convulsed as multiple defensive quirks activated automatically, fighting against the imposed rule. It's not working, Star realized with growing concern. He has too many biological redundancies. Izuku, witnessing this struggle through his cosmic perception, made a rapid analysis. His body is fighting your rule, but it's creating instability in his quirk network. If we combine our abilities again. Before he could complete the thought, Shigaraki launched a desperate counterattack, decay spreading through the air itself towards Star and Stripe. The American hero evaded the initial wave, but couldn't completely escape the expanding field of destruction. "Catherine!" Izuku called, using her civilian name instinctively through cosmic empathy as he witnessed decay beginning to affect her costume's edge. In that moment of crisis, Star made her final heroic decision. New order, my quirk will revolt against other quirks that try to steal it. As decay reached her body, New Order transferred from Star to Shigaraki, but true to her final command, it immediately began attacking the villain from within, targeting the stolen quirks within his modified physiology. The American hero fell from the sky, her body partially disintegrated by decay's touch. Izuku caught her with cosmic enhanced speed, creating a stabilizing energy field around her damaged form. "Hold on," he urged, cosmic perception already assessing the cellular degradation. "I can help you." Star looked up at him with fading clarity. "Too late for me, but my quirk is fighting him from inside now." Her breathing grew labored as decay continued spreading despite Izuku's containment efforts. "They told me you could interface with reality itself. Is that true?" Understanding her intent, Izuku nodded gravely. "Yes." "Then finish what I started," she whispered. "New Order is destroying his stolen quirks, but All for One's core remains protected. You have to reach deeper." As Star's life force faded, Izuku made a desperate attempt to save her. Calling upon his evolving cosmic abilities, he created a reality interface around her decaying form, a field where physical laws could be temporarily altered through pure cosmic will. "Reality rule," he stated, golden energy patterns flowing from his hands into Star's disintegrating body. Decay effects cannot propagate within this field. To his amazement, the advancing destruction halted immediately. Izuku had never attempted such direct reality manipulation before, imposing his cosmic will upon fundamental physical laws rather than simply manipulating energy or matter. The effect drained him tremendously, but stabilized Star's condition temporarily. Medical evacuation arrived minutes later, rushing America's greatest hero to specialized treatment while Izuku returned his attention to Shigaraki. The villain had retreated during Star's rescue, but cosmic awareness allowed Izuku to track his energy signature as it fluctuated wildly, evidence of the internal quirk conflict Star had initiated. In the days that followed, as Star fought for survival in a specialized medical facility, Izuku maintained a constant cosmic connection to her, using his energy to supplement conventional treatment by continuing to suppress decay at the quantum level. This prolonged effort revealed new dimensions of his cosmic abilities, the capacity to interface directly with reality's fundamental rules, albeit at significant personal cost. When Star finally stabilized enough for conversation, she studied Izuku with newfound respect. "What you did shouldn't be possible," she noted, gesturing to her partially restored body. "You didn't just counter decay, you rewrote its behavior within your field." "I'm still learning what's possible," Izuku admitted. "Each challenge seems to unlock new aspects of the cosmic energy." Star nodded thoughtfully. "There's a reason All for One wants your power so desperately. It's not just strength, it's adaptability, the perfect counter to his stolen quirk arsenal." This conversation planted seeds that would grow into Izuku's most significant cosmic evolution yet, the conscious development of reality interface capabilities that allowed temporary manipulation of universal laws within defined parameters. Unlike Star's New Order, which rewrote rules through quirk activation, Izuku's approach worked through direct cosmic will, imposing order through harmony with universal forces rather than overriding them. This development proved timely, as UA faced its greatest internal crisis, the revelation of a traitor who had been feeding information to the League of Villains since the USJ incident. When evidence pointed toward Yuga Aoyama, whose parents had been coerced into cooperation through threats, Izuku's response demonstrated how far his cosmic understanding had evolved. Rather than confrontation or accusation, he approached Aoyama privately, cosmic empathy allowing him to sense the crushing guilt and fear beneath his classmates' carefully maintained facade. "I know about the arrangement with All for One," he said gently, sitting beside the French student during a quiet moment, "and I understand why your parents agreed to it." Aoyama's face crumpled with emotion. "How long have you known?" "My cosmic awareness has been sensing timeline discrepancies around certain events," Izuku explained. "When I focused on those moments specifically, I could perceive multiple causal paths, including your reluctant involvement." What followed wasn't an interrogation but a conversation between two students, one cosmic empowered but compassionate, the other trapped in an impossible situation. Through cosmic perception, Izuku witnessed Aoyama's experiences directly: the pressure on his parents, the quirk given to a previously quirkless child, the debt demanded in return. "You're not so different from me," Izuku observed quietly. "We both received power we weren't born with. The difference is in who gave it to us and why." This conversation led to a carefully coordinated operation with UA staff using Aoyama's communication channel to feed controlled information to All for One while preparing a counteroffensive. Throughout this delicate undertaking, Izuku maintained a quantum-level awareness of temporal probabilities, his cosmic perception allowing him to anticipate possible futures with accuracy that approached Night Eye's foresight. "It's not seeing the future exactly," he explained to Principal Nezu during strategy meetings. "It's more like understanding the most likely convergence points of current probability streams." This temporal perception guided UA's response, allowing them to prepare for All for One's next move while protecting Aoyama and his family from retribution. More significantly, it represented another evolution in Izuku's cosmic abilities, transcending spatial awareness to include temporal dimensions as well. As these abilities continued developing, Izuku became increasingly aware of energies beyond conventional detection, sensing disturbances not just across physical space but across dimensional boundaries as well. During meditation exercises designed to help control his expanding awareness, he occasionally perceived what seemed like conscious observation from entities existing outside normal reality. "Something's watching our universe," he confided to All Might during one of their regular mentoring sessions. Multiple somethings, actually. Some benevolent, others not so much. The retired symbol of peace studied his protege with concern. "Your cosmic awareness is expanding beyond Earth itself now." "Beyond our dimension, I think," Izuku clarified. "I'm sensing entities that exist in parallel to our reality, but not fully within it." This expanded perception would prove crucial when a dimensional anomaly appeared above UA one evening during Izuku's final year. A perfectly circular distortion in reality that his cosmic awareness immediately recognized as artificial in origin. As students and faculty gathered in alarm, Izuku approached the phenomenon cautiously, cosmic energy gathering defensively around him. A figure emerged from the portal, a man in elaborate blue robes wearing a distinctive pendant, his hands making complex gestures that manipulated the dimensional gateway. Izuku's cosmic awareness instantly recognized energy patterns similar to his own, but channeled through different methodologies. "Izuku Midoriya," the stranger greeted with formal precision. "I am Dr. Stephen Strange, Sorcerer Supreme. I've been monitoring your cosmic evolution for some time." "You're from another dimension," Izuku stated, cosmic senses analyzing the visitor's quantum signature. "Another Earth, but not this one." Strange nodded approvingly. "Your awareness is more developed than I anticipated." "Yes, I come from Earth 616 in the multiverse designation, a reality parallel to your own." As UA staff established a security perimeter, Strange explained his unprecedented visit. A being called Thanos had gathered 6 fundamental cosmic artifacts, Infinity Stones, capable of reshaping reality across all dimensions. His intention to eliminate half of all life throughout the multiverse with a single gesture. "The conflict approaches its climax in my reality," Strange continued gravely. I've foreseen over 14 million possible outcomes. In only one do we succeed, and that outcome includes your participation. The request was extraordinary. Travel to another dimension to join heroes from Strange's reality in a battle with universe-level stakes. As faculty and classmates listened in stunned silence, Izuku found his cosmic awareness automatically expanding to verify Strange's claims, perceiving distant echoes of the conflict already unfolding across the dimensional barrier. "I can sense it," he confirmed quietly. An immense concentration of cosmic power, 6 distinct signatures converging around a singular consciousness with genocidal intent. The Infinity Stones, Strange confirmed, each controls a fundamental aspect of existence: space, time, reality, power, mind, and soul. Together they grant the user absolute cosmic authority. After consultation with UA leadership and his mentors, Izuku made his decision. If half of all life across all dimensions is threatened, that includes our world too. I'll help however I can. The journey through Strange's portal exposed Izuku to interdimensional transit for the first time. Experience his cosmic awareness automatically cataloged and analyzed, understanding the principles that allowed movement between parallel realities. They emerged onto a devastated landscape, the planet Titan, where the initial confrontation with Thanos had already begun. Heroes unlike any Izuku had encountered fought desperately against the massive purple-skinned being. Iron Man with his advanced technology, Spider-Man with enhanced agility, the Guardians of the Galaxy with their diverse abilities. But even their combined efforts barely slowed Thanos, who already possessed 5 of the 6 Infinity Stones. "The cosmic energy user has arrived," Strange announced, creating arcane shields as they joined the battle. "Our final component." Thanos paused, studying Izuku with genuine curiosity as cosmic energy gathered around the young hero. "Another human-wielding universal power," he observed. "This multiverse never ceases to surprise." Izuku's cosmic awareness immediately analyzed the Mad Titan, perceiving both his immense physical strength and the unprecedented power of the assembled Infinity Stones. More significantly, he understood Thanos' motivation, a twisted form of compassion that believed universal culling was necessary for survival. "Your logic is flawed," Izuku stated, binary form activating as he rose slightly above the ground, golden energy patterns flowing across his darkened costume. "Creation doesn't require destruction on that scale. The universe naturally seeks balance without imposed genocide." "A philosopher as well as a warrior," Thanos replied, seeming genuinely interested despite the ongoing battle. "But theory means nothing against reality. Resources are finite. Population growth is exponential. The math is irrefutable." "Math without context is just numbers," Izuku countered, cosmic energy building around him. "You're ignoring adaptive capacity, technological evolution, and dimensional expansion possibilities." This exchange, though brief, created a crucial opening. As Thanos engaged intellectually with Izuku, the other heroes implemented Strange's complex plan, maneuvering to temporarily separate the Mad Titan from the Infinity Gauntlet. What followed was combat on a scale Izuku had never experienced. Not just physical confrontation, but reality manipulation, as Thanos used the assembled stones to warp the battlefield itself. Space folded, time reversed, reality shifted, as the Mad Titan deployed cosmic powers that dwarfed even All-for-One's quirk arsenal. Yet Izuku's cosmic nature provided unexpected advantages. When Thanos used the Reality Stone to transform matter around them, Izuku's cosmic energy automatically adapted, maintaining his form through quantum coherence. When the Time Stone reversed local causality, his expanding temporal perception allowed him to maintain awareness despite chronological shifts. "Fascinating," Thanos commented after Izuku countered a particularly complex stone combination. "Your energy signature, it's not native to your universe, is it?" The insight startled Izuku, even as he maintained a cosmic shield protecting Iron Man from a Power Stone blast. Somehow, Thanos had detected the extra-dimensional origin of his cosmic abilities, the energy cube that had transformed him years ago. This momentary distraction nearly proved costly, as Thanos brought all 5 stones to bear simultaneously. Only Strange's timely intervention with the Time Stone created the opportunity Iron Man needed to make a desperate play for the gauntlet. In the chaotic moments that followed, as heroes from across Strange's universe converged through multiple portals, Izuku found himself fighting alongside Captain Marvel, another cosmic-powered hero whose energy signature resonated with his own at a fundamental level. "You channel the same cosmic force I do," she noted during a brief respite, golden energy flowing around both of them. Different source, similar manifestation. This recognition created an immediate tactical opportunity. Working in perfect synchronization, Izuku and Marvel combined their cosmic energies to temporarily neutralize the Power Stone's output, creating the opening needed for Thor's desperate attack with Stormbreaker. The battle's conclusion came suddenly. Thanos momentarily victorious, all 6 stones assembled, his snap seemingly inevitable, until Tony Stark made the ultimate sacrifice, using nanotechnology to transfer the stones to his own armor for a counter-snap that decimated Thanos' forces at the cost of his own life. As dimensional stability returned following Thanos' defeat, Strange approached Izuku, who stood watching the emotional aftermath among heroes who had fought together across multiple crises. "Your contribution was essential," the Sorcerer Supreme noted, "exactly as I foresaw." "Why me specifically?" Izuku asked, cosmic energy subsiding as he returned to normal state. "Your universe has its own cosmic heroes." Strange's expression grew thoughtful. "The cube that transformed you, it wasn't originally from your universe either. It was a fragment of cosmic power that traveled across dimensions, seeking someone worthy of its potential." This revelation aligned with All for One's cryptic comments during their confrontation. "So my power was never a quirk or an accident." "The multiverse rarely deals in accidents," Strange replied. "Cosmic power of that magnitude finds its way to those who will use it as it's meant to be used, as a force for creation and protection, not domination." Before returning Izuku to his home dimension, Strange offered one final insight. "The entities you've sensed watching your universe, they're real. Cosmic observers who monitor dimensional development and intervene only in existential crises. Your awareness of them suggests you're evolving towards something beyond conventional heroism." "What does that mean for my future?" Izuku asked. Strange smiled enigmatically. "That's for you to determine, but know this. The cosmic power you wield connects you to something greater than any single universe. Remember that when your final confrontation comes." Returning to UA mere hours after his departure, despite spending days in the alternate dimension, Izuku found his perspective fundamentally changed. The interdimensional experience had expanded his cosmic awareness beyond planetary concerns, allowing him to perceive connections between parallel realities and understand his own powers in a truly universal context. This expanded perspective proved invaluable as Japan entered the final confrontation with All for One and Shigaraki, a conflict that would determine not just the fate of Hero Society, but potentially the dimensional stability of their world itself. The villain coalition had gathered unprecedented resources, including international support and quirk-enhanced soldiers. All for One, now fully integrated with Shigaraki's evolved body and a commanded power that rivaled All Might at his peak, supplemented by a century of accumulated quirks and scientific enhancements. As heroes from across Japan mobilized for what would clearly be their final confrontation with the ancient villain, Izuku gathered Class 1A for a candid discussion about what they faced. All for One's ultimate goal isn't just destroying Hero Society, he explained. Cosmic awareness projecting energy patterns that visualize the villain's accumulated power. He's attempting to reach a state of quirk singularity, merging so many abilities that he transcends conventional limitations entirely. "Like what you can do with cosmic energy?" Todoroki asked perceptively. "Similar in concept, but fundamentally different," Izuku clarified. "My abilities evolved through harmony with universal forces. His approach forces incompatible powers together, creating unsustainable energy patterns that threaten dimensional stability itself." This analysis informed the Hero Coalition's strategy. Rather than a direct assault on overwhelming power, they would implement a coordinated approach targeting specific weaknesses in All for One's quirk network that Izuku's cosmic awareness had identified. The final battle unfolded across multiple fronts as villain forces attacked population centers simultaneously, stretching hero resources thin. Class 1A, now in their graduation year, deployed alongside professionals, demonstrating 3 years of intensive training and experience. Izuku, operating at the main confrontation point, found himself facing All for One directly as other heroes engaged Shigaraki's decaying influence and supporting villains. The ancient villain's appearance had evolved further, a grotesque amalgamation of biological modifications and energy manifestations that barely resembled humanity. The cosmic child returns, All for One greeted, voice resonating with unnatural harmonics. How appropriate that you should witness the culmination of my work. I've seen where your path leads, Izuku replied, cosmic binary form activating fully as he prepared for combat. Across dimensions and timelines, it always ends the same way, collapse under the weight of incompatible powers forced together against universal law. All for One laughed, the sound distorting reality around them. You speak of universal laws as if they're immutable. Power defines law, boy, and I have accumulated more power than any being in history. What followed wasn't just physical combat, but a multi-dimensional confrontation, as All for One deployed quirks that manipulated space, time, and matter simultaneously. Buildings warped, gravity fluctuated, and causal relationships distorted as the villain unleashed abilities that defied conventional physics. Yet where previous heroes would have been overwhelmed, Izuku's cosmic awareness allowed him to perceive the energetic structure behind each attack, identifying pattern weaknesses and counter frequencies. His binary form evolved further, cosmic energy adapting to each new threat with unprecedented efficiency. You've changed, All for One observed after several exchanges left both combatants unharmed. Your cosmic signature has evolved beyond what my sensors detected previously. Interdimensional exposure, perhaps? Instead of answering, Izuku shifted strategies. Rather than countering individual quirks, he extended his cosmic awareness into All for One's composite form, mapping the energy connections between hundreds of stolen abilities. Within this complex network, he identified crucial nodes where quirk factors intersected, potential vulnerability points where overload could cascade through the entire system. You're scanning me, All for One realized, genuine alarm replacing confidence momentarily. Interesting approach, but futile. My integration is perfect. No, Izuku countered, cosmic energy gathering around his hands as he prepared his attack. It's inherently flawed. Quirks aren't meant to be hoarded. They're expressions of individual genetic potential. Forcing them together creates fundamental instabilities at the quantum level. With perfect precision born of expanded cosmic awareness, Izuku projected focused energy pulses, targeting specific nodes in All for One's quirk network. Rather than overwhelming force, he applied exactly calibrated frequencies designed to create resonance cascade effects through connected abilities. The result exceeded even his calculations. As targeted quirks began destabilizing, All for One attempted to jettison them, only to discover the cosmic energy had created entanglement effects that spread disruption through his entire network. Quirks began activating randomly, turning against their host as energy patterns collapsed into chaos. What have you done? The villain demanded, his composite form fluctuating between different manifestations as quirk effects contradicted each other. Created harmony within discord, Izuku replied, maintaining precise cosmic pulses. Each quirk is returning to its natural frequency, rejecting forced integration. All for One struggled to maintain coherence as his carefully constructed power system unraveled. In desperation, he attempted his original quirk-stealing ability, reaching for Izuku's cosmic energy directly. If I can't maintain my network, I'll take your power instead. The moment All for One's stealing factor contacted Izuku's cosmic field, a reaction occurred that neither had anticipated. Rather than transferring power, the connection created a bi-directional flow, cosmic energy interfacing directly with All for One's quirk storehouse, not to steal, but to restore. Izuku, acting on cosmic intuition, shaped this unexpected connection deliberately. Reality rule, he stated, golden energy patterns flowing between them. Quirks seek their rightful wielders. The effect propagated through All for One's entire system. Stolen quirks, some held for generations, began separating from his composite form, not disappearing but transmitting across space toward their genetic inheritors. Throughout Japan, descendants of All for One's victims suddenly manifested abilities their families had lost decades or even centuries earlier. No! All for One roared as his power literally fled his body, quirk after quirk returning to bloodlines he had plundered across his extended lifetime. You can't undo a century of work. I'm not undoing anything, Izuku replied, maintaining the cosmic connection. I'm restoring balance. These powers never belong to you. They're returning home. As the quirk liberation continued, Shigaraki's consciousness, still existing within the composite form despite All for One's dominance, began reasserting itself. Tenko Shimura, the abused child beneath layers of villain conditioning, sensed an opportunity for freedom as All for One's control weakened. Izuku, perceiving this internal struggle through cosmic empathy, extended his awareness into their shared consciousness. Tenko, he called, addressing the buried personality directly. You can reclaim yourself now. All for One is losing his hold. The internal conflict manifested physically as the composite form convulsed, features shifting between Shigaraki's decay-marked appearance and All for One's inhuman visage. Cosmic energy continued flowing between them, not attacking but healing, separating entangled consciousnesses while continuing to liberate stolen quirks. He's too strong, Shigaraki Tenko's voice emerged briefly, sounding younger than his years. He's been inside me too long. Focus on who you were before him, Izuku urged, cosmic empathy allowing him to project supportive energy directly into Tenko's fragmented consciousness. Before the decay, before the League, the child who wanted to be a hero. This connection, cosmic energy bridging directly to Tenko's buried identity, created the final catalyst needed. As All for One fought to maintain control of his disintegrating power network, Shigaraki's decay activated from within, targeting not external matter but the villain's consciousness itself. If I go, he goes too, Shigaraki declared, momentary clarity in his voice as decay spread through their shared form. End of the line for both of us. Izuku, unwilling to accept this outcome, made one final attempt at salvation. Fully activating his evolved binary form, he channeled cosmic energy directly into the decaying composite, creating a selective field that preserved Tenko's consciousness while allowing decay to consume All for One's influence. I can save you, he insisted, golden cosmic patterns intensifying around them both. But you have to want it, Tenko. You have to choose it. For a moment that stretched across possibilities, the outcome remained uncertain, cosmic awareness showing Izuku multiple potential futures branching from this nexus point. Then, with what seemed like his final strength, Tenko Shimura made his choice, reaching toward the offered cosmic lifeline. The separation that followed defied medical and quirk science. Tenko's consciousness and original genetic material preserved through cosmic intervention, while All for One's century-old existence finally ended, consumed by the very decay quirk he had cultivated as a weapon. Where one composite being had stood, only Tenko remained. A physically younger version of Shigaraki, decay quirk still present but fundamentally changed. As hero reinforcements secured the disoriented Tenko and medical teams treated the injured, Izuku maintained his binary form, extending cosmic awareness across Japan to ensure all stolen quirks found their proper recipients safely. The energy expenditure was enormous, but his evolved cosmic nature handled it with unprecedented efficiency. In the days that followed, as society began processing the implications of All for One's final defeat, Izuku worked tirelessly to help stabilize the hundreds of people who had suddenly manifested quirks their families had lost generations ago. His cosmic empathy proved invaluable, helping these unexpected inheritors understand and control abilities that had emerged without warning. The media dubbed it the Great Restoration, a quirk renaissance that rewrote the genetic landscape of Japanese society. Historians and geneticists worked to document the recovered abilities, like many of which had been considered extinct or mythical. Each restoration revealed another chapter of All for One's century-long predation, and with it, another family finding healing for ancestral wounds. For Tenko Shimura, rehabilitation proceeded slowly under specialized care. His decay quirk, no longer fueled by hatred, had transformed into something potentially constructive, the ability to break down matter in controlled, reversible ways that had applications in recycling and materials science. Though his path to redemption would be long, cosmic empathy had given him something he had lost decades earlier: choice. As graduation approached for Class 1A, now celebrated as the legendary class for their contributions during multiple crises, Izuku found himself contemplating Strange's parting words about his cosmic evolution. His awareness continued expanding, occasionally perceiving entities of immense power observing from dimensional boundaries, cosmic beings that existed beyond conventional reality. During a private conversation with All Might before the graduation ceremony, Izuku shared these perceptions. "There's a structure to the multiverse that I'm beginning to understand," he explained. "Cosmic entities that maintain balance across dimensions, observers who rarely intervene but monitor everything." All Might nodded thoughtfully, "And they're aware of you now." "They've been aware since the cosmic cube transformed me," Izuku clarified. "But my journey to Thanos' dimension seems to have elevated their interest. One called the Living Tribunal apparently considers me a dimensional anchor point now, whatever that means." The implications of this cosmic recognition became clearer during graduation itself, when Izuku experienced another expansion of awareness, this time perceiving not just parallel dimensions, but potential futures extending from their reality. Among these possibilities, he glimpsed threats beyond villains like All for One, cosmic-level dangers that could threaten entire dimensional clusters. When he received his hero license and officially debuted as Cosmic, Japan's first explicitly interdimensional hero, Izuku made a quiet promise to himself. His journey had evolved from seeking personal validation to protecting society, and now to something greater, safeguarding reality itself against threats most couldn't even perceive. The hero agency he established incorporated this expanded purpose. Beyond conventional villain response, Cosmic Agency specialized in phenomena that transcended quirk classification, dimensional anomalies, reality distortions, and entities from beyond conventional space-time. His former classmates, now professional heroes themselves, often collaborated on cases that bridged conventional and cosmic threats. Tsukochi, now heading a specialized police division for unconventional phenomena, once asked Izuku how he balanced local responsibilities with cosmic awareness. "How do you focus on street-level crime when you can literally sense events across dimensions?" "The cosmic perspective actually helps," Izuku explained, his matured understanding evident. "Seeing the universal scale doesn't make individual suffering less significant. It contextualizes everything as part of the same continuum. A child crying and a star dying are different scales of the same fundamental experience, change propagating through the cosmic web." This philosophy informed his approach to heroism in the post-All for One era. Rather than imposing order through power, Cosmic worked to foster natural harmony, using his abilities to help systems self-regulate, whether those systems were quirk manifestations, social structures, or dimensional boundaries. His most significant ongoing project involved Eri, whose rewind ability had matured under his guidance into controlled temporal manipulation. Together, they established a specialized healing program for victims of permanent quirk damage, combining her temporal regression with his cosmic stabilization to restore abilities thought permanently lost. "We're not changing reality," he explained to licensing committees concerned about the ethical implications. "We're restoring natural patterns that were disrupted by external forces. The universe seeks balance. We're just facilitating that process." This balance-focused approach extended to international relations as well. Following Star and Stripes' recovery and return to America, Cosmic became Earth's unofficial ambassador to powered individuals worldwide, helping establish protocols for cross-border crisis response that transcended political differences. "Cosmic threats don't respect national boundaries," he noted during a United Nations address. "Neither should our response to them." As years passed, Izuku's cosmic awareness continued expanding, occasionally allowing him to perceive what Dr. Strange had called multiversal nexus events, moments where decisions in one dimension created ripple effects across multiple realities. Through careful cosmic intervention at these critical junctures, he helped maintain dimensional stability without directly imposing outcomes. This delicate interdimensional work attracted notice from the cosmic entities he occasionally perceived. During a meditation session 5 years after graduation, he experienced direct contact from one such observer, a being introducing itself as Uatu the Watcher. "Your evolution continues impressively, Cosmic Protector," the entity communicated directly to his consciousness. "Few mortal beings achieve awareness of multiversal structures within a single lifetime. I still have much to learn, Izuku replied mentally, cosmic energy facilitating the interdimensional dialogue. Each new perception reveals greater complexity. That is the nature of cosmic enlightenment, Uatu confirmed. But know this, your approach to power has been noted and approved. Where others might have sought dominance, you have cultivated harmony. The Living Tribunal has formally recognized you as Guardian of Dimension 284B. This cosmic designation, official recognition from entities that maintained multiversal balance, came with both responsibility and resource. Izuku found his cosmic awareness expanding further, granted limited access to information streams that connected parallel Earths and allowed monitoring of dimensional boundaries for potential incursions. When such an incursion eventually came, a being of pure entropy seeking to consume dimensional energy, Cosmic didn't face it alone. Heroes from across his Earth coordinated with his agency, implementing strategies developed through years of preparation. More remarkably, dimensional allies arrived as well. Dr. Strange returning briefly from Earth 616, accompanied by other cosmic-level heroes who recognized the threat to multiversal stability. The collaborative defense demonstrated how thoroughly heroism had evolved since All Might's era. No longer dependent on a single symbol of peace, society had developed resilient networks of specialized protectors, with Cosmic serving not as unilateral savior, but as coordinator connecting appropriate resources to specific threats. Following this successful multiversal defense, Izuku took time for reflection at the site where his journey began, the abandoned laboratory where a cosmic cube had transformed a quirkless boy into something beyond conventional heroism. The facility, long since secured and studied, had revealed little about the cube's origins, despite years of research. As he stood in the chamber where transformation had occurred, his evolved cosmic awareness suddenly perceived something new. Energy echoes of the cube's arrival decades earlier, now visible to his heightened perception. Through these quantum impressions, he finally understood the truth Dr. Strange had hinted at. The cube had indeed traveled intentionally across dimensions, but not randomly. It had been deliberately sent by cosmic entities from a dying timeline, a final act to preserve their universe's fundamental energy pattern by transferring it to a worthy vessel in a stable dimension. All for One had found it by chance, but proved incompatible with its purpose. Izuku, with his innate desire to help others despite personal limitations, had represented the ideal recipient. This revelation completed a circle of understanding for the cosmic hero. His power had never been accident or coincidence, but recognition of potential, not just for strength, but for the wisdom to use that strength in harmony with universal principles. As Cosmic returned to his agency, where former classmates now coordinated responses to threats ranging from street crime to dimensional anomalies, he carried this understanding as both validation and responsibility. The cosmic energy that had transformed him would continue evolving, expanding his awareness and capabilities further with each new challenge.
A huge thank you to the legends supporting the channel's Patreon. Symbol of Peace, Carlos Terry, Raphael Turan, Kevin Hall, Hope of the Universe, Colsey. You're not just viewers, you're part of the story. Your support keeps these what-ifs alive and pushing forward. And that's how Deku, with Captain Marvel's powers, would completely transform the My Hero Academia universe. From rewriting the power scaling to changing how society views heroes altogether, this combination would create one of the most overpowered protagonists in anime history. What other powers would you want to see Deku wield? Drop your ideas in the comments below, smash that like button if you enjoyed this cosmic what-if scenario, and subscribe for more mind-bending crossover content. Until next time, keep wondering, what if?